I've started writing my title ideas beforehand, so
Really? Hell yeah.
I did it all for Nanaki.
This
Holy shit. I don't want to use this one on the podcast, so I'm going to say it here, but Seto O'Rourke. I thought that, and I was like, no, I am not unleashing that. Oh man, let's start this shit.
All right. This is the Every FNFF podcast. I'm Twirlin' Curtis, baby.
Hello, it's me, Carl Germ.
And me, Alex.
Fantastic.
Before we start, this is episode 11, and I'd like us all to go around and share what skills we could have learned in 20 hours.
Oh man.
So yeah, we've been podcasting for 20 hours. What could we have done with that time?
Well, I know in like the since I usually bring this up on the podcast anyway, I'm going to bring it up outside in this like context as well. In the speedrunning world, there's the challenge where you can take 12 hours to learn a speedrun, and I recently watched that guy Dave Stereo learn all of like the FF8 thing in 12 hours, so I could have learned the speedrun to FF7 and some change in the time that we've took to talk about it 3 hours for like 15 minutes of the game.
Fantastic. I could have, honestly, I could have taken the trash out at some point last week over the course of 20 hours, but instead I did it just before we started recording, and trash pickup was yesterday, so it's going to sit there all week and get real smelly.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's not really a skill I could have learned in 20 hours, so it doesn't really answer the question, but fuck you.
I guess I could have found a new job or something, but that's about it.
True. Same.
But instead, we came to you and talked about Final Fantasy. So you're welcome. You're welcome for our sacrifice. Subscribe to our Patreon. Is that what you do? You subscribe to it?
I think so.
We don't have a Patreon.
We don't have one of those.
Unless you're listening to this in a future where we have a Patreon, in which case I take back what I just said.
Yeah.
Elevate us above the working class. I find solidarity with the rest of you until I don't have to.
I feel like more importantly, what could the listeners have done in 20 hours
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're really taking their time.
How many listeners do we have now?
Exactly 4.
The three of us when we review it every week to make sure.
How many listeners do we have, Carl?
It says 195, but there's no fucking way that's accurate.
So
It's like average plays of like 78.
So that means we've taken 3,900 hours from the public.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. They're already supporting our Patreon in their time.
It sustains me.
Ooh.
I'm like a Dracula, except I really like garlic. We are already off the fucking rails.
We've extracted value from their time and labor.
So every 10 episodes we can reflect.
Is this is this North Coral? Because we're already off the fucking rails. God damn it.
Actually,
anyway,
where are we this week?
We are actually in the Cosmo Canyon area.
Did we get there yet?
Yeah, this time we're there.
I think.
Well, where did we leave off? I should say last episode. Did we just leave
We were like,
Gungaga?
yo, fuck Gungaga. This place blows.
Yeah.
Lame. This place is
This place is lame. I'm done with these fucking baby bop looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, so we're back in the buggy, I guess.
just bugging out.
Bugging
God
out.
damn it. Okay, before we get to Cosmo Canyon, you wanted to bring something up.
Oh yeah, I think it actually makes sense to bring it up here too, because you continue along. I actually, it might be before this area, but when you go across the river, on the like right side of you, there's like this weird structure that is like feeding into the river. There's like several waterfalls, and then a like circular pond that is coming out from like there's a cliff side that has a waterfall that's leading into a circular little pond.
To be clear, are you talking about the river in between Gungaga and Cosmo Canyon?
I think it's before that. I think I meant to bring it up last time, and then
Between the mines and Junon?
I think so.
Okay.
But it's worth noting. It's easily missable, but that kind of becomes a significant place later.
Yeah. Which you
Complete,
can't
also
even,
completely optional, but
yeah, but you can't even do anything now, right? Like, you
No.
can't even enter it.
No,
yet, I
you
don't
can't.
think. Yeah. So.
it's
But you might just notice it. We're like a little tour guide.
Yeah,
If you look to
I
your
wanted
right.
to-
Oh, the one in the forest.
I made. Let me see.
I'm looking at the map right now. That one?
Maybe.
That's Gungaga.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
Good
Now
listening.
this is good radio.
We're the experts.
Yeah, I really wanted to like make it. I really wanted to make it like mention it in passing when we got there, but I think it was the episode with Justin on it, and like was just like enthralled by him, so I wasn't like mentioning it. And then I was like, shit,
We didn't have room.
could have been a lot smoother. Alex, quick, go back and edit that episode that's already uploaded and people have listened to. And,
Yeah, I could.
Revisionists, every one of us.
Speaking of revisionism, I think it's also worth noting here, since we're still like within accessibility range of, what's it called, Gold Saucer,
Yeah.
that there is a missable item. Did I bring that up in the past one? Like on the speed,
What is the item?
it's just a weapon that if you go after disc 1, you can't get it anymore.
Probably not.
Yeah, so it's worth doing that speed square thing if you can.
What is it?
If you're a completionist, it's the umbrella. It's
What?
yeah.
I don't know you could get a fucking umbrella.
Yeah, so, and this kind
Who's
of,
that for?
it's for Aerith, and it's one of the,
Sick.
but when you go back like later to go to Gold Saucer, I think, like after disc 1, it's a different item.
You're saying that during disc 3, Eris will be unable to equip the umbrella.
No, it's like a completely, it's not even like that, it's just like, there's, when you go back to Gold Saucer later, it's no longer that is the prize.
As though it won't matter anymore by that point, for some reason.
Yeah, and also in the battle square, after I went through and grinded like Corey outside of Corral, and got enough gold to buy the gold ticket,
Uh-huh.
I was playing around in the battle square just to like see what was up, and I saw that one of the prizes you can get there for like 300 GP is just the gold ticket, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks. So if you didn't do that yet and you're playing along and you want the gold ticket for way cheaper,
Well, hey, you got some good experience in AP along the way.
that's true.
That's right. That's right.
There's the AP we made along the way. That really counts.
Yeah. Okay, so going from the Gongaga area across the river and up into Cosmo Canyon, there's kind of like a transition of the land, I suppose. Like it's all kind of like a desert plateau. It's canyon.
It's a canyon.
It's a canyon.
Almost as if it were a canyon.
Yeah, but like it's not made of like one contiguous canyon. It's like branches out, right?
Right.
And for whatever reason, I've played this game a million times. I got lost in
Yeah.
that canyon, and I was like, I don't know where I am.
It's really easy to do that too, because the same thing happened to me. I also
Really?
like that when you cross.
It's right there though.
Yeah.
Like so if you're playing this game, when you go into the canyon, if you just take your first left, Cosmo Canyon is right there.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that, and I just got lost for like a couple minutes. Like, where is this place?
Yeah, like you can see it too. You can see it in the distance. It's
Yeah.
a pretty like obvious structure. But
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I went like right, and
Yeah.
I was like trapped in like a bunch. There was a bunch of cliffs around me. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Where?"
there-
kept getting random encounters. and
Yeah.
shit.
There's you want to talk about the little turtles, the Sahagins? Did you?
Oh
see those
yeah.
guys?
I think they're also in the remake trailer. I'm pretty sure.
Oh really?
I think they might have also been enemies in the sewer when we were in the sewer in Midgar.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the,
yeah, I think
the Ninja
so.
Turtles.
So I think
Yeah.
this is kind of starting a trend of like that any RPG does, where you fight a more upgraded version of a character that uses the same model with a slightly different
Color palette.
Recolors,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that they're called the desert Sahagin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They like just don't take physical damage.
Yeah, that you do like
whatsoever.
one. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're real
They're-
tough with that. Yeah.
Yeah. The enemies in this area are pretty tough.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna see another recolor coming up very shortly.
Yeah,
Of the Zanene.
hmm And it's
Yeah.
got like a great name that's like the first it's like the
Yeah.
Zanene or whatever
Yeah.
thing, and then
It's
it's
not
just
the
like
whip though.
what is it like?
We'll get there when we get there.
What is it's like the sneaky sneak or something
yeah,
stupid.
the sneaky snap.
But anyway, did you encounter the other enemy that looks like Pen from Evangelion?
I did not.
They're cute little like penguin guys.
No, I know who you're talking about.
They're
though.
called skis. So I ran into it. I was
Skis
just like,
and
"Oh,
Pen-Pens."
ski, motherfucker!" God damn.
God damn.
Another cool thing is with them is they usually come in like threes, and they each give out 111 experience. So when you beat them, you just get
Yeah.
666.
Very
That's a cool
nice.
devil number for those
Wait,
listening at home.
You mean they give 222 experience? Because if there's 3 of them, that would be 666.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Called out.
Shit.
Called out live. Well, not live. Is it live?
This MF doesn't know how to do math.
So we finally get our way out of that mess.
That mess and that mess of conversation that we just had.
Right. And we get to Cosmo Canyon, which, hey guys, I love Cosmo Canyon so
Me
much.
too.
The place rules.
Did anything happen before you get into Cosmo Canyon?
Like what?
Togepi hatched from its egg.
Mew is under the buggy the whole
Yeah.
time. No, but if you're, I don't know what the trigger for it is, and I think it doesn't actually have to happen. But the buggy can break down right outside of
Fuck
Cosmo.
off! Are you serious?
You've never seen that?
No.
I'm pretty sure Corey also brought that up like instantly on his episode. But yeah, you get to a certain point, and I think it's just like if you drove enough and like then get into the canyon area, it starts to break down. So it starts making this like crackly noise, and like little sparks come off, and Cloud, like a little dialogue bubble just comes up, and it says like ! And like some like dust clouds happen, and Cloud like runs out of it, and it just like starts like going nuts, and it completely breaks down, and Cloud says, "Oh man, a breakdown now?" And when I saw that, I was thinking about like a mosh pit about to fucking open up.
Yo, that's wild. I had no idea. I've played this game a million times, and
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, Dio gave us a shitty gift because we drove it, and then it just died on us.
I mean, maybe.
It's like my real car in real life a week or two ago.
Oh man.
It's exactly what happened when I got to work. A little dialogue box popped up with question mark exclamation point.
Oh man.
Um,
So yeah, my buggy broke down.
so what's dope about Cosmo Canyon is that it's like built on top of a
Oh,
plateau. Like it's
If the
Oh,
player
right.
tries to bypass Cosmo Canyon, the buggy will break down.
Oh, weird. That's crazy because I was like just right out front of it.
Oh, there you go.
Must be
But that's
real
cool.
sensitive.
Okay, so that makes sense then. Yeah, because like this is the next point in the game that you have to go
Okay.
to progress the story.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
So
But yeah, Cosmo Canyon is dope because like it's built into the canyon, right? Like,
Yeah.
the houses are actually built into it, and like on top of like this big rocky plateau is like a observatory,
yeah,
and it looks fucking dope.
yeah. And when you
Cool as shit.
when you first walk in, it kind of just gives you a whole view of the entire area
Yeah.
as the song is starting up.
Yeah, it just like there's just a quick scene that just pops up that just shows you the whole thing. It's real neat.
and like like Curtis was saying, it's like intertwined into this canyon.
Yeah.
But so there's different like little cave entrances and just
Yeah.
stairwells and like a bunch of ladders leading up to
Yeah.
like little like huts or whatever.
Yeah. And I feel like I could be wrong. I feel like they're taking some inspiration from like the Pueblo Americans, right? Or
I
like that kind of.
I don't know if it's specifically the Pueblo, but I think
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of a Native
American
American flair to
absolutely.
it. It's not. I don't think it's like. It's not so heavy that it's just like drenched in it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like it's there.
Yeah.
With the music, with the instruments especially picked for the track.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of the clothing that people are wearing,
I-
except for the one construction
So,
guy.
but he's not a native.
Exactly. Yeah. You're
And
right.
if you talk to that guy, he goes off to fix your buggy.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that makes sense then when he's there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's visiting, but we'll get to that in a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, so we walk in, and so I had Red in my party. I don't know if like you don't have him in your party if he runs up.
I also had him in my party, but
Okay.
I think he just runs out no matter what.
Okay, yeah, because he runs up and just like shouts out, "I am home. It is I, Nanaki."
Yep.
Which is like fucking.
Completely like unceremonious, just like, oh yeah, here's my real name.
Yeah, I know.
And the guy who's standing at the front of Cosmo Canyon.
Real casual. Oh, hey Nanaki, you're safe.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah, he says, "Come on and say hello to Bugenhagen."
Bugenhagen. And and he just runs on
He
ahead.
runs off, and Cloud just goes, "Nanaki."
Yeah, because we haven't heard that name yet. And we talked to the guy at the entrance who just spoke to Red, and he's like, "Oh, welcome to Cosmo Canyon. Are you familiar with this land?"
Yeah.
And he can say yes or no. And I was like, "Well, of course, no.
Right, of course.
You don't know."
It's our first time ever being here.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
And he says, "People from all over the world gather here to seek the study of planet life."
I read that sentence and I was like, that's a really weird sentence.
It's really oddly put. Seek
But-
the study of planet life.
Yeah, but the study of planet life is kind of a theme of this area and that they keep bringing up. So it's like that's
Yeah.
like a type of like study, like an
It's like a
ology.
science.
Like
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I like
Cosmology.
cosmology. Yeah. He lets out like a little cry before his next sentence, and it's UMMGAH, like, and he just says, like, and right after that he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's full right now. I can't let you enter." And there's maybe one NPC on screen, but like whatever, I get it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. He's like,
maybe it's
yeah,
full.
yeah.
But
It's the No Homers Club.
we're allowed to have one. Yeah. But like, which I thought that was kind of neat because like, this is a town and there are people who live here in Cosmo Canyon, right? But they're also like, it's also like a university campus almost, like a retreat or something like that people go to get into this study. And there's like admissions where like only so many people can get in at a time.
Exactly.
Right. And I guess when people leave, other people can come in.
It's like the World of Warcraft queue. It's topical right now.
Yeah.
So if you're listening in the future, that probably won't be as topical.
I'm sure we'll all remember the time the WoW Classic came out. And the queue lines
And the queues were like hours long, and all the streamers on Twitch were
Who could
complaining
forget?
about it.
Yeah. But as soon as he says that he can't let us in, Red just comes back down the set of stairs
Yeah.
that he's run up, like going to the top of the plateau. And he says, "Oh, they helped me out when I was on the road. Please let them in." And like the dude's cool with it. He's like, "Oh, you helped Nanaki. All right, come on in." Whatever.
Yeah, there's plenty of room.
And like I like that scene was there because like for me it like contextualized Cosmo Canyon a little bit, where it's like, okay, there's rules, but
we're
not,
real relaxed of it.
yeah, they're just kind of like they're like reasonable people.
Yeah,
you know what I
of
mean?
course.
Where they're like, "Oh yeah, you helped out. That's fine. Come on in then. Whatever." He's just doing his job, and he's not a dick, you know, about it.
And I feel like this place also, like, not just from its scenery and, you know, everything kind of leading up to this, but, like, I feel like there's a lot of gravity about this place, too. So I'm sure a lot of, like world-renowned intellectuals, like, regularly come to this place, like you were saying, like a retreat. So I feel like it's also partially with that, where it's just like, oh, yeah, well, we're full up on people who are trying to study here.
Yeah. I also thought that I had this thought, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it's accurate. Thus far, throughout our show, the only like 2 places that I've been like, yo, this place is nice, has been Cosmo Canyon and Costa del Sol. Both, I think, the only places that haven't had Mako reactors.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like the only 2 places that are like, oh, that place looks fucking dope. I'd love to live there.
And this place is absolutely beautiful too. Like I don't even think we talked about it too much, but like when you go across the river, like the sun kind of starts setting, so it's that nice like dusk setting. And like when you see the whole canyon and the music's playing and stuff, there's just this beautiful skybox behind it.
Yeah. And I like also like kind of describing the look of this place. It's not what I would call like 100% like natural, right? It's not like completely wood. Like there's machinery around.
Yeah.
Like, they've like not rejected advancements in technology, right? Like they're all about that, but they have kind of a it's in more equilibrium.
Yeah,
I guess.
I agree.
Yeah, which is pretty dope.
Now there's a great line too where I think Cloud is like, "Who's Nanaki?"
Yeah.
And then the guy just says, "Nanaki is Nanaki. That's his name."
I know.
Which just like I couldn't help but think of the bit from Parks and Rec where did you guys watch that
I've
show?
never seen it.
Okay, because there's the that like '90s singer guy Genuine, and Tom Haverford's talking about it, and
jump on it, my battle.
Exactly, yeah. And Ann Perkins is just like, "Who's Genuine?" He's like, "Genuine is Genuine." Genuine. She's like saying his name over and over again. Isn't gonna help me learn who he is.
So good.
Nanaki's Nanaki.
Nanaki's Nanaki. Which like he does say when we first meet Red, he's like, "I don't care what you call me, just call me whatever."
Yeah,
and we're just like Red 13 because he's got a 13 on him. Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, and it's also that at that point, like with Red's motivation, even right after that, he's like, "Yeah, I'm only gonna go as far as my hometown, and then I'm fucking out." Like he like up until this point, like he hasn't really cared too much because he's like, "Oh well, I just need to get back home." Yeah. And then he's been friendly enough, but he hasn't really been connecting with people too much. I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say not to like imply that he's been like rude or mean or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's obvious. He like I feel like he cares about the crew because they've all been helping each other out.
Yeah.
But like their grand mission of stopping the Shinra is not his grand mission of stopping the Shinra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's on a homeward bound quest.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the
and it's also really sad.
I see a lot of the characters seem to have a similar arc where like, oh, I'm just in this until we're out. Like, just Cloud even was like, I'm out of here as soon as I get paid kind of thing. But but then we make
We make friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we finally get into Cosmo Canyon, and you can kind of run around and talk to people. It's cool. There's a bonfire right in the middle of the first area, like as soon as you walk in, and like as soon as you walk in, you're kind of like you're on like a cliff side, but it's wide, and like there's a drop off to the right, and the plateau continues going upward, like the cliff goes up to your left.
Yeah, it's like staggered plateaus, I feel like.
Right.
So there's sharp drops and then a plateau and then more sharp drops and plateaus. And
yeah, so you're kind of like on a large one in the middle.
Yeah.
This one kind of evokes like a central marketplace kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's like little stands.
It's like a courtyard kind of thing.
Yeah.
like
Stands with
kiosks.
bottles and what's probably fruit.
I like that. Like, there's just like a big bonfire in the middle.
It's so
as
good.
well. And like people talk about the bonfire too. They're like, "Yo, this bonfire protects the town."
Yeah.
And the only time anything's ever bad happened here, it went out. You know, like when the bonfire went out, that's the only time anything ever.
I love just
happened.
that little tiny bit of lore where like the kid around the bonfire is talking.
Yes,
about it.
I have his text up, but yeah, go.
Yeah, go ahead. No.
Oh, okay. He if you talk to this little kid around the bonfire, he says, "Yay, Nanaki's back, and it's all thanks to this flame." The fire is called the Cosmo Canyon. The fire is called the Cosmo Candle. It's burned for generations, a holy flame that protects the canyon. I've heard it went out only once long ago. The elders said something horrifying occurred, but I really don't know much else about it.
That's when the firekeeper died.
Yeah.
Lautrec killed her.
I know. Yeah, we didn't go bring back the firekeeper soul. We used it to reinforce our Estus.
We used it to get 5 humanity.
Yeah. It's all canon. Dark Souls happens in the Final Fantasy VII universe. And we also like meet. So if you like walk around here, because you can go straight where you need to go, because you see Red go up a set of stairs, and you can just follow him, or you can walk around and go fart around in town a little bit. So of course I went and farted around in town a little bit.
I too farted around.
And like you meet people who I think are in charge of Cosmo Canyon, like Elder Bug or whatever. Buggy.
Yeah.
And like nothing, they're not important to our story in the least. He's just sitting at a picnic table and he just says, "Oh, is that so? You brought Nanaki back here." That's it. That's all he says. So like they're like, which I mean is cool, right? Because like even though it's a game where like we're the central characters, there are other people's lives going on as well.
Yeah, so he's sitting like in a bar area. I forget the name of the bar. I have it written down somewhere, but he's kind of just sitting there and like talking to you. There's also a part where you can meet one of the other elders whose name I forget at this point, but did you talk to them later? Because they give you more information.
Maybe.
The elders, you mean?
Yeah, the elders give.
I don't remember.
So
one of them is looking for something.
Yeah. So and I wrote that down, and then I was like, oh, that's all he says. He's just like, oh, I'm looking for something.
And I thought there was something you could find. I ran around looking for an item, but I couldn't find one.
But when you can go back to him later on after we trigger some of the events here, and he's like, oh, I found it, and then like he tells you more just kind of backstory.
Oh, okay.
So I have all those notes. We can get to that when we come
cool.
there.
The bar is called the Pub Starlet.
Yeah, the Pub Starlet, which is it's funny too because I think like in the title card for it, it's like pub and then in quotation marks Starlet, but like there's a space after the first quotation mark. I'm pretty sure. It's very weird.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Like you were saying earlier about them not rejecting technology, at the back of this like bar area, there's just like a room that's there that looks like it's got like pillows on the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's Red's room.
Yeah. So it doesn't say that yet, but at one point we find him in here. And it is his room. But there's also this weird like, it almost looks like an Edison like light bulb. Like one of the old style light bulbs, like just hanging from the ceiling, lighting it. So like you were saying, they're not fully rejecting any kind of technology or anything that. Like they have it. It's just not Mako energy.
Right. And they have a much more like respectful kind of look on all this stuff. And maybe even are just plain smarter. I don't know. Because we'll like get to Bugenhagen's thing in a minute. And he knows a lot, but we'll get there. But if you go up into the pub on the top floor, there's an inn room that you can go into, and there's an elixir in there you can pick up in front of the couch.
Yeah, it's hidden too, right?
Yeah, it's in front of a couch, so you can't like see it.
Yeah.
There's probably no actual
icon for
it, but you can find one there. And I think that's where you find a Turtle Paradise poster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5, I believe.
Yeah. So we haven't talked about Turtle Paradise yet in the series, and just because I forgot on the episode that we could find the first one, But there are multiple flyers for this place, Turtle Paradise, hidden throughout the world. And the first one is in the Shinra Tower.
Yeah.
And it's on like the second floor or something like that, or like the first floor.
It might be. I feel like I read it and then we didn't talk about it in the episode, but I think I think it might be on the first floor, like where the truck is.
It's in. I think.
And
it's
then
in
you walk into like the item
go
shop
back.
or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's where it is.
I searched back on my notes too to see if I wrote anything down about it, but I probably just took a screenshot and was like, I'll talk about that on the show, and then just fucking didn't.
I miss it every time, and I have to go back later during the one time we get a chance to go get it. And I have to get it there. But if you get all of them, and by get you just read, you're not really getting anything or whatever. You fulfill a side quest. An optional side quest later.
Yeah, which is very optional because I don't think I've ever actually done it. No matter the
I
many times I've played this game, I don't think I've ever done it.
Speaking of things that I didn't know about this game, also, since we're walking around, when you go to the item shop, so I put on the arrows, like the little location signifiers, like you guys have been playing with, because I was like, I keep missing shit.
The scrub icons, as the non-god gamer.
Yeah, I was like, man, I keep missing shit, and they keep seeing it, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. I never noticed that there was like a ladder icon in the item shop, and I spent like 10-15 minutes trying to get to it, and I could not get to it.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So I looked it up online. I just Googled Cosmo Canyon green arrow, and like all kinds of game fact posts came up.
Oh,
about
hell
it,
yeah.
And there is something back there, but you can't get to it till way later in the game.
Okay, because I saw that place. I also had the icons on, but I didn't see a green arrow anywhere. But I did see the ladder and like a velvet rope.
Yeah, there's a velvet rope there. Yeah,
that's like blocking something. So I was like, oh, probably when I go through all of these weird cave entrances
what I
that
thought.
I see, I'll come back to it. And then I completely forgot about it until just now.
Yeah.
So
I thought you could just go back via that, like the same way you're talking about going through the cave entrances. But no, you did. You just have to wait till later.
Yeah. Did you guys see the name of the inn?
No.
The guy like welcomes you and says like, "Hey, welcome to the Shildra, the Shildra Inn."
Shildra,
which is like very close to Shinra. It's like
I don't know, man.
So and I was like looking that up, and I went to look it up, and the only thing that came up was like this like sexy anime babe like playing card that says Shildra the Silken Shamshur. So I like looked it up and stuff, and it brought me to this like weird like
That's
Wikipedia.
the episode title. Children of the Silken Shamshur.
I'll send it to you, Alex.
Please.
But so I looked that up, and it's for some weird like I guess like mobile game or like just playing card game online. That like it brought me to like the main Wikipedia page for this thing, like this community run Wikipedia page, and it was just like the first thing in like red text or whatever. It was just like, thanks for the support, everyone. The engine that this game runs on is canceled, and we are no longer able to support it, so, like, this game is dead now. And I was like, well, shit. And then I saw, like, Reddit, Google posts being like, whatever happened to this game and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
So you heard it here first, Final Fantasy VII no longer works because because the engine that it runs on has been canceled.
Yeah, you heard it here first. The remake is canceled.
Hey, I'm going to take a second right now. What is today? Wednesday? 6 days from now, FF8 remaster comes out.
Oh, fuck
yes!
I'm so excited.
Yes! And I just beat it like 2 months ago. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it again.
I'm probably gonna do like 2 playthroughs.
I probably will too. We should make an episode list. One of us should while we're going through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
Maybe Shildra will be the new Smash character that they're about to.
No, we already debunked that one on our channel, too.
Yeah.
It's the sexy cactuar.
Oh, God, as soon as I saw that, I just messaged the Slack chat. I was like, who posted it? And I didn't even like reference what I was talking about.
That one did pretty well.
I think that's been our best post thus far.
I think so too. Yeah. And that is by no merit because of like anything I did. It's 100% the artist who we still don't know who the original artist is.
Yeah.
If you're the original artist of that cactuar,
We'd love to have you on.
We'd love to have you on, and also leave us a 5-star review with your contact information so we can properly cite you.
Hell yeah. So there's more locations that we can get into here, but first we're going up the first set of stairs into the canyon.
There's a weapon shop that I thought said Weeaboo shop.
I have it written down as Weeaboo shop in my notes. That's right. Yep.
I read the rest of the sign and I saw like weh, and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't need to read anymore. I didn't even notice that it looks like Weeaboo.
100% read it as Weeaboo shop. Absolutely.
There's a fucking katana like right on the desk, so it makes sense that it's a Weeaboo shop.
But like when we're going up, actually, because that's the first room up these stairs that Red ran up. But as we run up them, Red actually meets us on those stairs and says, here is where I mean, this is my hometown.
Yeah.
And it kind of like describes it a little bit and says, the tribe that he comes from were protectors of the planet and the canyon. And his mother was brave and was like a fighter, but his father was a coward and ran away, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of get, this is the first time we've ever heard about any of the Nanaki's family, Red's family.
Yeah.
He went out for cigarettes.
Yeah, his dad went out for cigarettes and never came back. And he says, I am the last of my race.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I actually was going to ask a question later about
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to ask.
Bugenhagen and Red, but no, anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, I was like, are they the same race?
I think
Could they?
I think grandfather's kind of more of like an affectionate title.
I think
like,
so, too.
He raised him, but like not like
it's a
by
real
blood.
Barrett Marlene situation going on here.
I was thinking in Japanese, I think it's Oji-san or whatever, and which is like grandpa, but that can also be like, hey old man. Like,
Yeah.
Oji-san, you know, like that can also be like kind of a, it can almost be like a derogatory term. I think if you say it to somebody and you're like, hey old man.
It's like that Futurama bit where there's that old man and Fry's like, hey old man, and then he's like, oh, my name is like whatever, and he says his actual name and he goes, but you can call me old man, and Fry goes, oh, I'll never remember that.
That's so good. But yeah, so Cloud inquires further about his cowardly father, and he says, my father was a wastrel.
Yeah, that's really good.
Look at Nanaki pulling out that fucking that vocabulary.
Cowardly father just made me think of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage, yeah,
I read it as Wastrel.
Wastrel.
Wastrel. Is that what it is?
That's how you're pronouncing it.
Hold on.
Wastrel.
Oh.
There we go.
That was so creepy.
Yo, what's the definition?
A wasteful or good for nothing person.
I guess that makes
Oh, yeah.
sense.
Also, archaic as a waif, a neglected child.
Don't be a waif.
Yeah.
Anyway,
A
Wastrel.
Waifu. But yeah, he tells us that his mission, the thing that he does, because we really don't know that much about him up until this point,
Right.
But like his deal is that he's inherited a mission from his ancestors to protect this place.
Yeah.
And he says, my journey ends here.
Yep.
So he's able to go back to protecting the canyon that he's from and fulfill his duty.
Like he said earlier, like he's going as far as his hometown and taking off.
Yep. And now we kind of know why. It's not just to get back and
Yeah, he's not
be
just
part of
like
it.
anti-pop punk,
Yeah.
but he wants to get back to his town for a reason.
Right. And then somebody calls him. They're like, "Oh, hey, Nanaki," and he goes, "Oh, I'm coming, Grandpa," and he runs off. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Oji-san.
I was wondering too, like when he says like coming, Grandpa. I didn't have Barrett in my party, but I was like, I wonder. Like there's
I
some
did.
dialogue here, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Barrett's going to say anything
He
about
does not.
their with like their time in the Shinra headquarters
Yeah,
prison,
when he
where
makes
he like
fun of him.
was making fun of him for Grandpa.
Yeah.
But he just has like a regular line. What does he say?
He didn't. I don't think he said anything.
He
in
says,
mine.
"Good time. Let's take a breather. I got stuff I want to find out too."
I was like, the only person who said something in mine was Yuffie, who said, "Rest, rest, rest. I want to rest." Okay, that's that.
I love Yuffie so
I know,
much.
so
She's
good.
She's got a lot of good dialogue here.
I know.
and this is where the rest of your party kind of splits off and kind of does their own thing, right?
Yeah. Like
yeah.
Aerith says, let's rest for a bit. Like Barrett, she says, there are some things I want to find out about anyway.
Dude, I'm gonna turn my Switch around. Tell me that doesn't say weeaboo.
That 100% is fucking weeaboo.
Like,
I literally read WEA and I was like, I know what that word is. I don't
Yeah.
need to. There's no reason for me to keep looking at this sign.
so the shop is actually called the Tiger Lily Arms Shop.
Yeah, which is a great name.
Yeah, and
the
the-
Weeaboo Tiger Lily Arm Shop.
The person working it says, "Oh, most of these are just replicas." She's like, "Oh, people in Cosmo Canyon don't like to fight, so we don't
A
really."
lot of cosplayers, though,
yeah.
or historical reenactments. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh,
And it's crazy though because like all of the weapons, like she's like, oh, these are like just replicas or whatever. Like every single weapon is pretty much an upgrade here.
yeah. They're kind of. This is also the first place in the game that I just fucking ran out of money. I just
Same.
did not have the money to
Same.
buy enough stuff. So I knew who I wanted to have for the next section. I was gonna take Yuffie and Red, obviously. So I just went ahead and bought Cloud, Yuffie, and Red's weapons, and was like, good enough. I don't have any more money.
So I had a lot of money from just like grinding limit breaks earlier.
Yeah.
And I ended up
I cheated.
hell yeah. I ended up spending all of it, and I had enough to buy everyone's weapon.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy Kate Sith's because I was like, fuck that. I'm not
Yeah.
wasting the.
Oh, look, I got some Kate Sith news coming up in the next section. We'll talk
Ooh.
about, and it just lends to him sucking.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we can actually go around and kind of talk to some people here, some of our party or whatever. And I really like what Yuffie says when
Yep.
you see her in the materia shop.
Yeah.
She says, "Oh man, this place looks like a real drag, and their materia sucks."
Yeah.
Which what the fuck?
Which
they
wrong.
They sell
the
HP
best.
and plus and MP plus materia. Those rock.
Yeah.
Those are fucking great.
And I was fucking pissed. I was pissed because I had just spent all of my money on everyone's weapon except for Kate Sith, so I couldn't buy that. I have to like double back and buy that before I move on.
I didn't. I didn't buy it.
Because and this is like I think HP plus was one of the like items that we could have won from like the Rufus thing way back. So it like you can get it here finally, but it's like 8,000 gil for each each of them.
And the weapons are like 2,400.
I think so, yeah.
And so this is like significantly more expensive.
But all the stuff is worth it too. Like I said, is all an upgrade.
Which like Yuffie, what do you even know about materia?
I think she only likes the offensive.
Girl. Yeah, that's fair enough.
She doesn't care about what is this? It's not the support materia. It's the.
And there's an important conversation we can get into with Barrett.
Yeah.
Right, did you get into that one?
Maybe.
Oh boy, the history of Avalanche.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
So we meet Barrett in one of the back rooms, and he's just standing by some barrels. he's like lined up like one of the barrels too. So I was just like, oh, there he is, blending in. And we talked to him, and he kind of just starts. He almost starts like halfway into his story, where he says there was this guy who studied quote unquote planetary life here. He couldn't take things the way they were, so he went to Midgar and formed Avalanche. I guess you could say this is where Avalanche was born.
Oh,
and so,
okay.
So we learned about the history of Avalanche here.
I totally missed that, but he brings that up again later, saying that
does.
this is where Avalanche was born.
Yeah. Here he also says, I've always wanted to come here, and I finally made it. A lot has happened. And you can respond to him with like, and then, or yeah, whatever. And I was like, I'm not a heartless monster. I'm not going to say yeah, whatever. So I was like, oh, and then what happened, you know?
Yeah.
And he says, and then, well, I don't know what's going to happen now that there's no Avalanche. And that's it. He just doesn't want to talk anymore. Yeah. So after that. And that's where we were talking about Elder Hargo is like, I lost something. Where did I put it? I was like, you silly old man. I'm done with this room.
All the important stuff's done in this room. No, I'm pretty sure his dialogue later is a little important. So
that's why I'm disappointed I didn't go.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it soon. But I think, is there anything else that we can do at this particular point, or should we just move on to the observatory?
I'm ready to go talk to Bjugin.
Yeah, I'm just saying to see if there's anyone else that we can meet up with to talk to besides just Kate Sith saying, when's dinner?
Oh, yeah. Kate Sith is just like in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Big Quina hours.
yeah. God, I said this before the podcast started. Over the last weekend, I took Friday off, and I had Saturday and Sunday off, and I never have days where I don't get to do anything. So Friday morning, I got up, and I started Final Fantasy IX, and I beat it Sunday night. I did nothing else.
So good. I'm so jealous.
So good. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so we kind of follow where Red was moving.
Yeah.
And we make it all the way up to like the highest point in the town, which is this like observatory.
Mm-hmm. The observatory is interesting. The screen is weird.
Yeah, we get to see like the outside of it first, right? Before we go into it.
I think that's like the next level up because we're like kind of in like the place underneath the observatory.
Yeah.
At this point. And it's also worth noting that the layout of this town is like really weird, and there's certain points where
odd.
you like go outside and you're just on a cliff and there's nothing there, but you just kind of see things.
Yeah.
Like you just see everything from a like slightly higher angle.
Right. Yeah.
Or like a slightly higher like positioning of the camera.
Yeah.
It's not even a different angle.
From the junction where we could see like Barrett and Yuffie and all that stuff. If you go out the leftmost entrance, you just go to a cliff where there's nothing there.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we make it into the this like observatory area where we see like a little like a little kitchen area and like just a little
like
lived-in
chill
space.
apartment.
Yeah, it's like a cool little bachelor pad.
Yeah,
and we see Bugenhagen in front of the fridge.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what he looks like?
Bugenhagen's dope.
He's got big Master Roshi energy.
Okay, like upper half Master Roshi when he's not in super buff mode, right? This is an old man. And actually since we're playing it on Switch, the polygons have a little bit more resolution to them, or the image just has a little bit more resolution, so it's easier to see everything. And he has like a kind of a not a mullet or a rat tail, but he has like a little ponytail in the back, but he's balding up top.
Yeah.
So he has like a skullet because he just has hair around his like ears in the back of his head.
It's real
But
good.
the hair in the back is long enough to make like a little ponytail that he pins up.
Yeah.
So he's a cool old man. He's not just an old man, he's rad.
Yeah.
But he has no legs.
Debatable.
Debatable?
Debatable.
Go ahead.
Because for the longest time, I thought he had no legs and was just some weird, like, I didn't even know what he was. I didn't really put much thought to it. But underneath him is this, like, circular green thing.
Oh, you think
And he's just
kneeling.
floating. So if you look up concept art for him, he's sitting on a large green, like, ball. Almost like a medicine ball.
Okay.
And I have a theory about what it is, and I think other people have this theory, too.
He's just sitting on a ball.
The float materia.
Yep.
Oh, is that what you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, well, I always thought it was like some kind of materia and stuff, but yeah, like there's like, oh, maybe that's the only.
You know
float
what?
materia
Now that
in the
I'm
game.
looking at it, I can totally see that being
Yeah,
the case.
it's one of
But
those.
I've always thought that he just had like
no legs.
no legs, and there
Lieutenant
was
Dan.
just like the bottom half of a sphere, and
Yeah.
he was just floating.
Like I always thought that was his like pants or something. Like I don't even know like what.
Yeah.
I just remember being like, he looks weird, and then like breezing through this part.
Yeah, given how long the sleeves look like, I guess you can assume that he just has a very small frame and just like sitting cross-legged on this orb.
He could be, yeah.
But if you
yeah.
look at his model, it's like bobbing up and down slowly, like he's floating.
Yeah.
And then like there's a point later where he is actually floating around.
yeah.
So it's either like some sort of materia that allows him to do this, or it's like a mechanized thing because he's also
Yeah.
a very like mechanical type person.
Dr.
so-
Robotnik.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
egg.
yeah. A nice Dr. Robotnik energy coming
Yeah.
off of this guy.
yeah.
When I first saw him, I immediately thought of Dumbledore in Potter Puppet Pals.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So he's also got a white beard and sick black shades.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of which, they do let you see Barrett's eyes in the new Final Fantasy VII
Hell yeah.
remake.
You gotta get-
which I think they changed because of our podcast.
I believe it. Our reach knows no bounds.
Yeah, and our bounds no reach.
They were like, we know it's crunch time, and the studio's probably treating all the developers like shit, but we need to go back and edit out the sunglasses in every scene.
And change Sonic back. Change him back to the way he was.
Oh wait, speaking of the remake though, because we were talking
The Sonic
about
remake or the FF7?
the FF7 one.
Sonic's in it.
Because
Sorry.
we were talking about this last week, I had to know if I was right about Wedge's voice.
Yeah.
And I kept like trying to find the trailers, which is really difficult to find like the one that came after the launch and the teaser, and it was just like an off year that they were like, oh, here's a little bit more.
Yeah,
especially after like a newer one came. But I did find it, and he does have that like weird Mickey Mouse kind of voice.
Yeah.
You're doing this for the planet, same as us.
The weirdest thing though that I didn't realize is that it's fucking the voice actor for it is Badger from Breaking Bad.
Really?
Like I saw a thing and I was like, I don't know if that's confirmed, and then I went to his his IMDb page, and he is 100% Wedge.
Oh wow.
And he is
that's
like,
awesome.
we're doing this for the planet, just like us.
Yeah. I'd like.
Which is really good. I like it.
No,
a lot.
I think that's a great voice for him. I think it really works.
Matt L. Jones.
Yeah,
is
Matt
the
L.
actor.
Jones.
He's great.
Awesome.
He's also in a lot of cartoons as well, I think, and,
Yeah.
and other video games as well.
When you said Beaver, I was like, he was in the Angry Beavers. That's like the
was
first thing I
Daggett.
thought.
Right, that's where.
No, Daggett was Invader Zim.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I'm thinking Norbert. Sorry.
I think the
Okay.
first.
Norbit? I don't know.
Norbit.
Norbit.
I think
Eddie Murphy.
I think Norbit's voice is Snow from Final Fantasy 13.
Could be.
We should look that one up.
Fucking Bender is in Final Fantasy X.
I think that's the same person.
Oh, really? John DiMaggio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Right on.
I think those are all the same person.
he,
yeah.
he definitely wasn't Norbit.
was he
Or
not?
Norbert or whatever
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
Who was that? Yeah, time. Google time.
Nick Bakay.
Well,
Nicholas Bakay.
Nick Bakay, you son of a bitch.
Nick Bakay. Final Fantasy.
Was he in Final Fantasy?
I'm googling that.
Oh, okay.
Patreon.
Should I tweet at Nick Bakay for real? Hey, were you in Final Fantasy?
Why not?
please? Yeah, do it.
No.
Now I gotta log
Ask
in.
GMC Fosha if he's in the remake.
I don't have Twitter open right now. And my phone is propping up my Switch. So anyway,
So Red introduces us to Bugenhagen. How do you say it?
I say Bugenhagen.
Bugenhagen,
You say Bugenhagen, right?
I was going to say Bugenhagen, but I was like, let me just get the weird one out of the way first.
Hell yeah.
I say Buthenhagen.
Buthen. Yeah.
This is Cloud. This is my grandfather Bugen.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, he just calls him Bugen. As in, Red calls him Bugen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're bugging out.
Bugen out. Yeah.
Bugen out.
He says he's incredible. He knows everything.
I love that, especially with the bit that we're gonna get in like a moment.
Yeah.
Because that's just such a little kid thing to say.
I know,
about
that,
your
like,
grandpa. Like,
I
oh,
know.
my grandpa knows everything.
I know. It's so good. And he's like a super jolly old man,
He's
right?
great.
Before everything he says, he's just like, ho, 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 you know, like, he's just like laughing.
That's his quote on the Wikipedia page. Or not,
just
his
ho, ho,
ho.
Wikipedia
Really?
page is hoo hoo hoo.
Yeah. He says, I hear that you looked after Nanaki. Nanaki's still a child, you see. And Red's like, oh, stop it, grandfather. I'm 48.
Yep.
I'm a boomer, please.
And so Bugenhagen says Nanaki's tribe has incredible longevity. So you see his 48 years would only be equivalent to, say, that of a 15 or 16-year-old in human reckoning.
Yeah.
And Cloud's just
Reckoning.
like 15 or 16.
So here we go. If an average human lives 82 years and 15
Oh man, I
is
didn't
what-
make an equation.
How much of 82 is 15?
Oh.
I know, we're doing it. I said, you know what? We have to.
Yeah,
Hold
no, I
on.
agree. This is something that I should have thought of.
Well, let's see. You said 80?
Yeah, 80.
80
that's
divided
fine.
by 16 is approximately, it's 5 exactly. So it's 48 times 5.
Yeah, that's 48 times 5.
It can be about 240.
Hell yeah.
Sick.
So he could probably expect to live about 240 years.
I love
Hell
how
yeah.
he's like the opposite of dog years.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we're the pets.
Oh. Yeah, and we were talking about this before the show too, that Nanaki calls him grandfather.
Yeah.
Wait, did we talk about this before or during the show?
Who knows? Time is a mystery to us all.
Review time.
Review time. He calls him grandfather, but they're clearly not related. We talked during the podcast because I
Yeah.
mentioned some text. Alex, edit all this out. I'm going to put a sound on it so you know. That's the one. Edit all that out. If you hear that while you're editing, get rid of it.
I'm keeping that in, you know.
So yeah, but he's saying he kind of gives a little more credence to like how which I think we've talked about in passing on the show about how Red is like very serious and
Yeah.
seems a lot older than he actually like. For the sake of argument, he's 15 or 16 by all like stretch.
Yeah.
But Bugenhagen says he's quiet and very deep. You'd think he was an adult.
Right. And then he's, Red's
Or you thought he was an adult?
yeah, and Red's like, well, I want to be an adult. I want to grow up and protect the village.
I want to be an adult.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
wait till I'm old enough to feel ways about
I'm
stuff.
going to get into
Yeah,
real
I know, it's so
I'm gonna get into
silly.
real estate.
Yeah. And he says, no, you can't stand on your own yet. You know,
Yeah.
this is Bugenhagen talking to
I mean, he
to
does
Red.
walk. He does only use all 4 legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's difficult to stand on two
Yeah.
legs.
But he says to do that now would destroy you in the long run. And then I think he turns to Cloud and says this, I believe. But he says, reaching up into the heavens, threatening to snatch the very stars from the great city of Midgar. You've seen it, haven't you? And I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah, I have no
by
fucking
that.
idea.
But it's very ominous.
Yeah,
Like, he's clearly talking about, like, some event that's bringing...
yeah, something
damage.
to snatch the stars from the sky.
Yeah,
it's very.
right.
I read it as very like kind of Confucian, like
Yeah,
deep and like kind of poetic.
right.
In like a leads like you need to think about it in like a philosophy kind of way to like interpret what he means.
Right.
Or
right.
I'm just dumb as shit and
No,
this is obvious. And
well,
He even says, "Well, that's a bad example." Look
yeah, immediately, like, he recants
yeah,
on
and then
it
he says,
immediately.
yeah, looking up too much makes you lose perspective,
Another good...
which is another good
line, yeah.
like fortune cookie.
Stay grounded, y'all.
And then this is where this whole episode gets really light, and
Yeah.
we don't, has no relevance to
Yeah.
real life at all.
Didn't make me feel
So-
like absolute shit.
No, absolutely not. This is gonna be real pleasant from here on out. When he says, when it's time for the planet to die, you'll understand that you know absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Yeah.
Bugenhagen, ask us to have a seat first,
Yep.
man.
And,
Like,
yeah.
geez.
And Cloud's like, okay, when the planet dies,
Yeah.
and he says, ho ho ho, it may be tomorrow or 100 years from now, but it's not long off.
Yeah. And Cloud asks how he knows this, and he says, I hear the cries of the planets.
I love that line so much.
And immediately, as soon as he says it, too, you just get this, like, roar,
Low, yeah,
this grumble.
this
yeah.
low like whale noise kind of sounding,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crying.
Mm-hmm. And Cloud is like, what is that? And he goes, oh, that's the sounds of the stars in the heaven. While this goes on, planets are born and die. And And then another like scream comes through, and he goes, "Oh, that was a scream from the planet."
Yeah, like a more high pitched one.
Yeah,
That's-
it sounds like a whale, like a wailing.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
WAIL. Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
A wailing whale.
yeah, and then,
Whalers on the moon.
yeah, and then he says, "Don't you hear it?" As if to say, "I hurt and I suffer."
God
Like,
damn.
oof, boy.
I sent you guys a picture of that, and I was like, cool, I'm glad, the Amazon is
I know.
on fire right now, and I am playing this game to not think about
Yeah,
that, because
I
it
know, I
is literally
know.
keeping me up at night,
know.
and then I read this shit.
I actually think so obviously everything's in a context, right? But to do the opposite of what I should do as a good responsible human, to completely divorce it from context.
Everything was fine in 1997.
Yeah. To do it in 1997 context.
Yeah.
I actually do enjoy, like, from a storytelling perspective, this idea, because he goes on to say that, like, hey, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Eventually, it's going to happen.
It's like the circle of life.
Yeah, and thus far, I think everything that we've done, like every side quest that we've done, every time we learn about somebody's history and we go through it, it's like we're always able to pull together enough to move on, but it's never like we never achieve anybody's peace. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like Barrett defeated Dine, but he doesn't have peace from it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's a tragic situation, and everybody's story has gone that way thus far. And it's kind of laying out to you here that, like, hey, the point of all of this is still not going to come out right.
Yeah, like
And,
no
like-
matter what, it's still going to be shitty.
Yeah, and like it really makes the rest of the game like feel a certain way that I haven't played other RPGs that really do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I really love the attitude of this game.
Yeah.
And again, that's all completely divorced from any reality and everything like that.
Yeah, of
but
course.
but I do think it's very, very good storytelling.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder how much of the storytelling is like intentionally like things in the real world. Like when
Yeah.
they were designing this, we're like, was somebody being like, oh, there's these problems in the world? Because the whole climate science issues started in the 70s.
Yeah.
So like that was already known in the mid 90s. So whoever was writing these scenes out, were they like, hey, here's really issues that really happen in real life, you know?
And it's also important to think about just in context of the remakes coming out in like a
Yeah.
couple of months.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it's only going to be the Midgar parts, but like this is still something that is going to be discussed over the next 5-10 years, just like in an updated context.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because I think like right when the remake came out, I think I saw like there was some dude on Twitter who was talking about the remake and saying like, oh, like I hope they don't do anything like SJW and add politics to it or trying to
Don't add politics to FF7.
Yeah, which is insane. Like,
yeah, I know. You wouldn't have any
talk
game
about
left.
taking context out of it. Like
I
Jesus
know,
Christ.
I know. Like you wouldn't have any game left if you took
Yeah.
politics out of FF7.
Yeah.
It'd just be Pong with like hit points.
Yeah. Every time the ball hits, you just do a bunch of damage. Yeah.
Every time the ball hits, we talk about that specific instance for 15 minutes and then move on to it traveling.
I'm looking forward to our Pong podcast that we do.
Pongcast.
But you're talking about like real life, I think like things about closure and stuff
Yeah.
with like Barrett, and I'm wondering a lot of this is also just a kind of like an Eastern style of storytelling. Like I've been rewatching a lot of Miyazaki's films, which also talks about like our relationship with nature, and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
also like when I was younger, I didn't appreciate those films because like it would usually always end like not back at the start. It would always end
Yeah.
as like
Yeah.
kind of this growth and acceptance of the situation, not so much
Yeah.
of like
yeah.
a very like non-traditional, I mean traditional in the Western sense,
Right.
Right.
style of storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or-
it's very effective too.
Yeah, I think
So-
I know.
Yeah.
Especially with Barrett, who literally was just like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but Avalanche is no more.
Right.
Like the guy
Yeah.
who went from being like, oh, that guy, he should probably join Avalanche.
Yeah, yeah.
Like after the shit with Dine, he's just like, no, Avalanche is done.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he'll recant on that a little bit.
No, he does in like the next scene. But
I should have named a Red Wedge.
Wedge is dead. Wait, what?
guys, I'm right here. I wanted to name Red Nanaki, but I also didn't want to post screenshots
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
with Nanaki in it for people who might be playing
Right.
along and stuff. But
You
now
should
we're
have been
past
like
that
a real
point.
off spelling like Tanuki or something.
Tanuki.
I'm gonna the next time I go through just to piss Carl off, I'm gonna name every character Eris.
But yeah,
Squall
speaking
is
of
Eris.
speaking of like in scenes coming up where like people recant like what they're saying, like Bugenhagen does the same thing in a little bit, where he's like, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to matter, but like,
yeah, well,
we'll
keep
talk
going.
about that when we get there."
So Red explains that Cloud and his team have come here on a journey to save the planet, and then says the line, "Why don't you show them your apparatus?" Red.
Which again, to me, just read as like,
he's a little kid and doesn't understand.
or like an old
okay.
man, or him with more 48 boomer energy.
Yeah.
But like,
no, he means like come look at my train sets in the basement.
yeah, or just like you're on your phone tweeting and it's like, oh, all you do at the dinner table is look at your apparatus. Grandpa, why don't you show them your doodad?
My dingling. So Bugenhagen does his laugh and he says, "To save the planet." Then
he laughs again.
Yeah, he laughs again. And then says, "I guess it wouldn't hurt to show him." And then another guy runs in, right? Like one of the
Kids.
Yeah, like one of the, I think it's the little kid by the candle.
Yeah, he runs in
bonfire.
and says several odd-looking people are here, and it's not like Shinra's busted in or anything. I think.
Which at first I was like, is there a Turks fight here?
Yeah, no.
I was like, I
he's
don't
talking
remember
about
that.
your crew. Yeah,
Which fair. Like
Yeah,
it's
we
like
are
Barrett
a
with a
bunch of-
gun arm, Yuffie with whatever the fuck she's wearing on her arm.
yeah, big gauntlet. Yeah. So Bugenhagen goes, "Oh, this whole place has gotten busy all of a sudden." And Red explains, "Oh, he brought friends. I'll go get them. Cloud, please call one of them." And basically, we're gonna invite 2 people in to check out Bugenhagen's apparatus
Because only 3 people can fit in Grandfather's machine.
Right.
Not counting Bugenhagen himself.
Right. Yeah. And I like that he said, like Bugenhagen says, "Don't worry, my machine won't run away. Go invite your friends."
Yeah.
And if you talk to him again, he says the same thing. So now we can go run around Cosmo Canyon looking for our party members to invite some.
Yeah, because what I did first was run to the save point that is like right out front of the one of the
Weeaboo
shops.
shop?
Yeah, right out front of the Weeaboo shop. And I went to PHS, which was inactive. So you
Yeah.
can't actually call them, despite that they were like, I was like, hey, call your friend.
Yeah.
Again, real old man energy.
Yeah.
Using the wrong
I
terminology.
mean, we're in a
for sure.
canyon. There's like no service.
That's true. That's true.
So who did everybody bring into the?
So I went with Barrett and Aerith because I feel
Okay.
like of everyone in the
They
party,
would appreciate it the most.
Yeah, that's what I went with. Who did you go with?
Okay. Well, hold on, Alex. Do you remember who you went with?
I think I'm with Barrett and Tifa.
Okay. So the last time I played the game, Barrett and Eris, because I thought the exact same thing. They'll
yeah.
appreciate it the most. This time, opposite. I was like, I'm going to bring Yuffie and Kate Sith. 'Cause
Oh,
I feel like
God.
neither of them will give a fuck about it. And I'm interested in what they say. And so I'll just go ahead and say it now, even though we're not at the scene yet. Kate Sith doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any lines. I was just like, you son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, when you invite them, the fun things they say, like Yuffie's like,
love
"God,
that.
I hate studying.
I know,
my- that's my
yeah.
favorite
He
one.
hates it. I was like, yeah, you're coming with me.
Going to class."
Yeah,
Oh, and Red is like, "Don't worry, Ben. I've seen it tons of times."
Yeah.
yeah. You actually can't take Red. He's
Right,
like, dude,
right.
I'm trying to rest.
Right. Barrett just says, what?
For some reason, you can see you can talk to the gatekeeper again. Like if you try to leave, it said, "Did you see the contraption? If you haven't, you must."
Gotta
but
see that
you-
contraption.
Oh, but thou must. Yeah, so we get whoever we want, and we go back to Bugenhagen. We go back to the observatory.
I like how Aerith and Tifa are both sitting at the bar together.
Yeah,
I like how
they're
they've
both
like got a
chatting.
friendship going.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. Yeah, it's really good. Because none of the other characters are like hanging out with each other.
Yeah, they're just kind
right?
of doing their own thing.
Yeah, and I think-
Yuffie is scoping out the materia shop again.
Yeah, I know. So good. So we go into the room attached to Bugenhagen's kitchen, and he says, "Oh, it looks like you have them all together. Let's begin."
Yeah.
And you get on like a platform, like a dais. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, well, he's through the door, and then like you're in a different room, and you can kind of see up in the ceiling. There's like this weird. It almost looks like a baby's like mobile or mobile
Yeah.
or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
where it's
about.
like stars and planets and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, there's like a circular thing in the center of the room that you stand on.
Like a platform,
Yeah.
And he hits a button or throws a lever, and like the platform raises up into that mobile or whatever you want to call it.
It's a planetarium kind of.
Yeah, it's not like an actual mobile where like strings are holding
Yeah.
the planets up or anything like
It's
that.
like Laser Floyd.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a laser show or something. It's
Yeah.
essentially like a planetarium.
It's like a planetarium.
Yeah, but like instead of the images being projected on the wall,
They're,
they're
like,
like VR. They're like
Yeah.
it's like a digital projection and it's
cool as hell.
Yeah.
I fucking love science.
What is that called in real life? ARR, augmented reality.
Augmented
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah, it's like augmented
It's an
reality.
ARG.
ARG, that's it. Yeah.
Shit,
yeah.
now we need to put like a link to like a cryptic website in the show notes and start an ARG that just gets someone to like the fart sound that Alex put in the last episode.
yeah. So yeah, as soon as it goes up, and it's cool because like every time any of the planets in this move, it gives us like a full motion cutscene.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really cool. And I like as soon as we went on up, Yuffie just goes, "Whoa, pretty good, surprising me." And I was like,
Holy shit, that's
nice.
high praise.
I know, because
It's like the highest praise of the game since,
I know.
since like the general or whatever was like, hey, you look pretty good in that soldier outfit.
yeah, because like Yuffie has like not said a nice thing about anybody like the whole game.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh shit, this is actually dope." You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah, Aerith just says, so pretty. It's just like the real thing.
Aw.
Tifa pretty much does the same thing.
Yeah, I think everyone's dialogues here is pretty incidental except for Bugenhagen's.
yeah, he goes, yeah, it's pretty good. This is my laboratory, and he
And then
just-
Dee Dee comes in and destroys it.
yeah, Dee, get out of my lab. So he says all of the workings of space are entered into this 3D holographic system, and a shooting star goes by, and one of your characters
Yeah.
will comment on it and be like, "Oh, a shooting star," and it's pretty cool.
And then that starts the like a full motion cutscene where you
Yes.
you actually see the star go by and you see a bunch of like asteroid pieces that then get like sucked into a black hole.
Yeah, right.
And also like the song changes here to a song called Lifestream.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. It's a really good song.
It's a
too.
really good song.
Oh yeah.
Kind of just like showing how beautiful everything is, and like you're in like one of the most beautiful points in the game, and then you
Yeah.
come to this, which is just as beautiful, if not more. And
Yeah, right.
you're
It's
kind
a
of
real
seeing
show.
everything. It's giving you a sense of scale to everything, and
So he kind of Bugenhagen's like, "Oh well, let's get to the subject. Let's get on to the matter at hand."
yeah.
And he just like goes into kind of a speech, right? And like a lot of times we kind of skip over details of text, but I feel like we should probably stick pretty close to the text here.
I completely agree.
There's a
he's-
lot though.
There is a lot, so I'm kind
But
of
I
going to
think
just
it's
smash
worth
through
it.
it.
Yeah.
But he says, eventually, all humans die. What happens to them after they die? The body decomposes and returns to the planet. That much everybody knows. But what about their consciousness, their hearts, and their souls? Their soul, too, returns to the planet. Not only those of humans, but everything on the planet. In fact, all living things in the universe are the same. The spirits that return to the planet merge with one another and roam the planet, which is not a whole sentence. It's bad grammar.
They roam, converge, and divide, become a swell called the Lifestream.
Lifestream!
Woo!
Yeah, I know. Finally got to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Isn't
Life's-
that what you use to make soda water?
It's the other form of swamp shoot.
Take a swamp shoot
God
and
damn
take
it.
a life.
God damn it, that's like blasphemous.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry
know, I
said
know.
that. Cut
It's
that out,
such
God damn
a
it.
serious
I don't want
section.
that to become a meme. Lifestream, in other words, a path of energy of the souls roaming the planet. Spirit energy. Oh wait, yeah. Spirit energy is a word that you should never forget.
And I don't think comes up ever again. After
yeah, it
this
comes
scene.
up like in this portion of the game, but then like never again, which I thought
It's
was
also
fun.
2 words.
yeah. All right, now you're just getting pedantic, Alex.
He says, a new life. Children are blessed with spirit energy and brought into the world. Then the time comes when they die and they once again return to the planet. Of course, there are exceptions, but this is the way of the world.
Exceptions, huh?
I've digressed, but you'll understand better if you watch this. Then we get a bitchin' fucking
It's so
scene.
good.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah. So then he basically shows us, like, this is another cutscene, right?
Yeah, it shows kind of like the planets in orbit, and it zooms in on something that looks like Earth, which is the planet that we're on, which in
Yeah.
this world, I don't think they say it outright ever or haven't
Yeah.
yet, but it's called Gaia.
Yeah.
So it zooms in on Gaia, and it shows like trees popping up and like a man,
little 3D man.
3D man
Yeah.
popping up. And then it kind of just like dissipates into like energy, and like there are like different colors of energy. Like,
Yeah,
because
so
the tree
a tree
also,
dies next to him as well. So it's kind of showing that like the tree and the man have died and their energy's going back to the planet.
and then it starts kind of flowing in a stream, and
Yeah.
it starts flowing around to the other side of the planet, where it kind of like converges, like he was saying,
Yeah.
and becomes a new color. and then sprouts up like a baby.
A little baby comes
which
up,
then
yeah.
I think turns into a man who
And,
like
like,
flexes.
flexes,
Like
yeah.
fucking, it turns into Dio.
Yeah, kono Dio. But yeah, so like, again, he kind of just what he was saying, like multiple things die. Their life energy goes back to the Lifestream, and Lifestream is responsible for the life that goes into new life.
Everything has a consciousness, and when life and death is just a part of it, and it's not the end at death, it becomes this stream of energy and creates new life. And then we start seeing a bunch of different color life streams
all over the world,
all around the planet.
Yeah.
And it kind of zooms out a little bit and shows Bugenhagen right next to it, and he says, "Spirit energy is the source of life for trees, birds, and humans.
But nothing else." No, he doesn't say that. Sorry, go ahead.
And not only living things, it makes it possible to form planets. And if that spirit energy were to disappear, and he holds up his hand, and just all of the life stream energy starts going into his hand, and as it's like moving away from the planet just turns completely black
and just crumbles
apart.
apart.
It like shatters, and it just falls.
Yeah, so showing that like if you remove the spirit energy from the planet, it'll just
this is what happens.
Completely destroy it.
Where have we seen that before?
Yeah. Could you some kind of like?
I can't remember there being something that was sucking up energy from the planet and then causing everything around it to die.
Right. But so it goes back to the cutscene stops, and we're back talking to everybody. We're still in the planetarium, but he says these are the basics of the study of planet life. And Cloud chimes in and says, if spirit energy disappears, our planet will die. And Bugenhagen says, spirit energy is efficient because it exists within nature. When spirit energy is forcefully extracted and manufactured, it can't accomplish its true purpose. And then Cloud, for the rest of us,
he asked the million gil question.
He is.
You're talking about Mako energy, right?
Yeah. And Bugenhagen says, every day Mako reactors suck up spirit energy, diminishing it. Spirit energy is compressed in reactors and then processed into Mako energy. All living things are being used up and thrown away. In other words, Mako energy will only destroy the planet.
Fossil fuel.
It's fossil fuels, except it's like sentient fossil fuel.
It's even darker than that. I mean, I guess
soul fuel.
I guess if you talk about it in terms of dinosaurs, it's kind of the same, but it's like this is like
an actual consciousness,
a soul. This is like going to a graveyard and like pulling up like souls and spirits and shit, and grinding it into like a little like marble, and then like using it and then throwing it away.
And he does say that like doing that not only is it being bad for the planet in general, but it's also like removing those souls from their true purpose, like the ebb and flow of life and death. It's like completely taking it away, using it, and then scrapping it and being like, it is no longer part of the greater whole.
They're saying resurrection's real, but it won't be if we keep using them for all the souls.
Phoenix down will not work if we keep extracting Mako.
And then, so that's the end of that scene. The room goes light again. He kind of turns back on the lights. The platform lowers.
Starts phasing in the Cosmo Canyon music again.
And he says, the story of the planets and those who lived on them. If you want to know more, visit your local library. No, he doesn't say that, but he does say if you want to know more, then you must listen to the words of the elders.
Yeah, and now we can go and talk to those elders and get a little bit more backstory about it.
Is that what he was saying?
That's he wasn't like doing a PSA like support your local library. Like you can go to the two elders in town and talk, and they have good stories.
Okay, I do know that if you talk to him immediately again, he says Nanaki, his father, a coward. So that's it. Nanaki's been thinking that all this time.
Yep.
And so you can get that little bit there too. But I didn't go talk to the elders.
Yeah.
So please.
Well, another funny thing is if you go up to the lever that he pulled to like bring you up to the planetarium, he goes, "Oh, that's a machine only I can use."
What?
Yeah. I just thought that was good.
Goof. I want to comment on the observatory when you leave. There's a mailbox outside the gate.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how mail gets delivered to the
it's like
it's outside the gate.
Which there's nothing there. It's just a cliff.
It's just a cliff outside the gate.
Well,
it's further reminds me of like the Rito race
I was gonna say,
in Zelda, which is just cliff-based bird people.
I was gonna say it's Wind Waker rules. They're just the bird people.
But
it's the Ghee.
It's so awesome.
It's for airmail.
Yeah. So if you go back to the back room where Barrett was earlier with like the barrels and stuff behind the bar, there's Elder Hargo, and he says, here it is. My job is to gather all the legends and the knowledge of the planet to make a book. Then, even when I return to the planet, the children may still be taught about many things.
Oh, dope.
He says, oh, we have guests. Good, good. So he was just saying that all to himself, and then he recognized, like, he
Yeah,
sees these things.
yeah.
He's like, oh, we have guests. Good.
I also repeat to myself what my job is while I'm at work.
Yeah. And he
That's how I
said,
stay focused.
Yeah.
he said, you came to ask me something, right? Am I right? Am I right, folks? And you say, it's about the promised land. And
I said not really,
yeah,
because I knew I'd be reading this on
yeah.
the
What
podcast.
with not really? What does he say? I think he's just like, oh,
Oh, that's not what you're here for? I'd appreciate if you don't talk to me about such foolish things as legends and old wives' tales.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which is weird because
he gives you a hard Choco Billy, and he's just like, oh, that's good.
yeah, but he actually, it's weird too because he also kind of tells you about like an old wives' tale or like an old legend.
Yeah.
So he says the promised land. So what do you want to know? There is no one place called the promised land. That's what I believe. No, it does exist. You can say that. In other words, it doesn't exist for us, but it did for the ancients.
Ooh.
The promised land is the resting place of the ancients. The life of the ancients is one continuous journey, a journey to grow trees and plants, raise animals, and make Mako energy. Their harsh journey continued throughout their lives. The place they returned to after their long journey, their burial land, is the promised land.
Oh, get out.
And then he goes, supreme happiness? I believe that, for the ancients, it was the moment that they were able to return to their planet.
Oh, wow.
That moment when they were released from their fate and gained their supreme happiness. At least that's what I believe. I really don't know whether or not it's true.
Oh, I wish I would have talked to him.
And then he says, by the way, those that came with you are all at the Cosmo Canyon. Candle, are you leaving?
Wow.
Yeah. So, so he's...
Weren't you leaving?
Yeah.
when are you leaving again?
Oh, then Elder Booga is in the pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Elder Bugkey.
you can ask him about the story of the ancients, and he says, you can't talk of the ancients without mentioning Professor Gast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No joke.
And he says, he used to come here sometimes. He was a Shinra scholar who spent his life studying the ancients. He was a serious person. You never would have thought he'd be in the Shinra.
Wow.
Must have been about 30 years ago when he found the corpse of an ancient. He was elated. If I recall, he named it Genova and was doing a lot of research. One day, he showed up here looking very distressed. He was mumbling something about Genova not being an ancient and that he'd done a terrible thing. He's been missing since then. I heard that he never went back to Shinra. So, if you ever see Professor Gast, I want you to tell him that the old man that likes to drink in Cosmo Canyon wants to hear about the ancients.
Wow.
Well, there's lots to talk about. But most thing about the ancients are all legends and folk tales, and no one knows the truth. And then if you say not really to him, he goes, that's no fun. I want to tell a story. He just wants a drinking buddy.
That's crazy.
Isn't that fucking wild?
I cannot believe I didn't talk to him.
That's like,
I've never talked to him before.
That's very lore significant.
Because, like, those are things you can pick up
Yeah.
the rest of the game.
But it's never like, I mean,
explicitly spelled out like that.
and like we were talking with Justin last week, like, it's insane how much in this game is just completely missable and completely optional.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of also shows how good this game is at storytelling.
Yeah.
Because it makes this podcast really fun because it's like a book club where it's like a novel where
Yeah.
like you all have the same source material.
But we get different
And
things
you can
from it.
discuss it and you can talk about it. And as long as the text like supports it, you can kind of talk about it. So
Yeah.
it's like with this where like completely missable, very significant. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, if you remember that part in Cosmo Canyon, then that means this and this. And
I like this a lot more because, like, we're going to hear more doubts pop up around Genova being an ancient or whatever, but I didn't know it would, like, it happened here.
Yeah.
And that's way better the way he says it because
Yeah.
Gast is the person who found
yeah,
Genova.
Yep.
Right?
exactly.
What?
Yep.
Thinking it was an ancient.
Yep.
What?
Some good stuff coming.
Which I'm not sure. Like, look, okay, so I don't want to say, I can't say anything spoilery, but just from what we know already, right? Sephiroth traces his heritage back to Genova. Who
Sephiroth
may not
says
be an ancient.
he's an ancient.
But
Says
Genova,
that the planet is his and that Genova is supposed to be like leading the planet and ruling the planet as an ancient.
yeah. But Genova may not be an ancient.
Huh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Lordy.
Lordy.
Oh, God. All right.
So, if you go back to like the bonfire at the center of town,
Let's go back to the bonfire of Center Town,
Yeah.
and let's take a little break there. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
That sounds good. And we're back with all FFs considered.
I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
So to keep with the very heavy plot that we're dealing with, I'm gonna go with Yuffie's dialogue first.
Yep.
Where you just talk to her around the bonfire and she says, "What a boring place! Just like I thought. I want to go somewhere." And like,
Let's go find some materia.
God, she's so good. I love her. It's so
One
much.
track mind, and it's always funny.
I know. It's like this is the best place in the game
Yeah,
thus
seriously.
far, and like so much stuff, like so much plot has hit us, and she's just like, this is boring.
She's a city girl.
Yeah.
She's like, my fucking Uber Eats doesn't work out here. This place sucks.
Just thinking about them orbs.
And then Kate Sith says, "I wonder how many years it's been. It brings back memories."
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
that'd be
I thought so
interesting
too.
for another time.
Yeah.
And then Eris actually has been talking to the elders.
Yep.
Right. So she says that like, "Oh, I learned a lot here. The elders taught me many things." And you actually get a little bit more dialogue with her than with any of the rest of the
Yeah,
cast
and
here.
Cloud like sits down next to her.
Yeah, her,
Tifa,
and Barrett.
Yep.
Yeah, he sits down next to them and talks to them. But she says about the Cetra, about the Promised Land, I'm alone. I'm all alone now. And like, I get it. Cloud's trying. He's doing his best.
He's spitting a little bit of game, but
Well, not
respectfully.
even game, it's just
Respectfully.
like-
Respectfully.
Well, he goes, "Oh, but we're here for you, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I know, but I'm the only Cetra." And he's like, "Well, does that mean that we can't help?" And I'm like, Cloud, come on, don't you get it? Don't you
Yeah,
see
come
what
on.
she's saying?
Come on, dog.
Yeah, but whatever, it's fine.
With this
He's-
white knighting shit.
Yeah, he's trying, but yeah. Red doesn't
He's
say
white maging.
Yeah, white maging. So, and until you talk to the rest of the characters, Red doesn't say anything yet. You need
Yeah,
to go around and talk
I
to
like
Reds.
that. When he says that, Aerith kind of like points her head like in the other direction, like she looks away from him and looks down at the ground.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to her, she only says dot 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 dot.
Yeah, yeah. So Tifa kind of is on her own
Yeah.
thought path there, and she just says, "Bonfires are funny, aren't they? They make you remember all sorts of things.
They're a hoot and a half.
They're a hoot and a holler."
Ooh.
Ooh, how about that? And she says, Cloud, 5 years ago, ... it's nothing. And then, Cloud's like, "No, well, what is it?" And she goes, "No, forget it. I'm afraid to ask. It feels like you're going far away. You really, really are you, right?" And that's the end of that conversation. And I was like, "Oh, this is so fucking good."
And she just repeats that if you talk to her again. Like,
Really?
you're really you, right?
Oh, it's so good.
And then Barrett, when you talk to him, you also sit down next to him and he says, "Cosmo Canyon. This is where Avalanche was born. I promised my guys someday, when we saved the planet from the Shinra, that we'd all go to Cosmo Canyon and celebrate. Biggs, Wedge, Jesse. Now they're all gone, died for the planet. Really, to save the planet. We all hate the Shinra. But is it right to go on? Will they ever forgive me?"
So good.
He says, "Right now, I really don't know, but I do know one thing. If there's anything I can do to save the planet, or the people living on it, then I'm going to do
Oh,
it.
he's so good.
I don't care if it's for justice or revenge or whatever. I don't care." And then he stands
Hands
up,
up.
and he throws his hands in the air, and he says, "Ah, I'm going to do it! Again! Avalanche is born again!"
Oh, so good. Dude.
Yeah, fucking
Ba-
kicks ass.
Barrett is the most like fucking in touch with his feelings like of any of the characters in this
Yep.
game.
He's the
like-
most emotionally available.
Yeah, for real. It's so good.
Yeah, I just love that he he's had this whole crisis of being like, well, is it worth it anymore? Is it like
Is it even right?
There's so much blood on my hands, I can't even hold my daughter anymore. You
Yeah.
know? Like has that in his mind, and then he's just like, you know what? I don't care if this is about revenge. I don't care if it's about justice. We're just fucking saving the planet.
Yeah, so good. He's so good. And then Red will finally talk to us, right?
Yep.
Oh, and another thing too, when Barrett stands up, all the other characters
Oh,
look
they
at
all
him.
look at him, yeah,
They're
like,
all
they
kind of
get
like
so-
surprised. They're like, "What the fuck?"
They're all like, yeah.
They're all looking into the bonfire and having these like
Aerith
like
is having
doubts and
these
thoughts.
existential thoughts about being
Yeah.
the last of her kind. Tifa is going through whatever's going through
Yeah,
her mind.
Kate
Everyone's
Sith is on fucking.
Yuffie's like, damn, I
thinking
need some
about past.
materia.
Yeah. Yuffie's just fucking bored.
Yeah.
And he stands up. He like breaks the silence. And everybody's like, "Oh shit, what?"
Yeah. I imagine like people at the like Bugenhagen like looks out his window like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, and I like the way that Red goes into his story too. Is that he doesn't like he just goes into
yep.
it. He just says, "Long ago, when I was still very small and we were all around this flame. No, never mind. It's about my parents. When I talk about my mother, I'm full of pride and joy, and that's fine. But when I think of my father, my heart is full of anger. And then Bugenhagen walks up out of nowhere.
He just says, "You really can't forgive your father," and then he slowly floats into the scene.
Yep. And Red says, of course, he left Mother for dead. When the Ghee tribe attacked, he ran off by himself, leaving Mother and the people of Cosmo Canyon, or of the canyon. Which I assume that when we talked to that kid at the entrance, when he was talking about the one time the flame went out.
Yeah.
I assume they're talking about the invasion of the Ghee tribe.
Yeah, I thought it was that as well.
So Bugenhagen wants to take us. He says, come to Nanaki, just something you should see. But the place may be dangerous, so Cloud, will you and one more person come?
Yeah.
And so he's going to take us off somewhere, right? And we get to choose who to bring. And I brought Yuffie.
Here's our favorite part of the podcast. Who did everyone bring?
Who did everybody bring?
So you brought Yuffie. I originally went with Aerith.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Tifa.
And she says, can I go too?
And I was like, well, fuck, yes, you can. Like, I have to.
If you really want to.
And then I got Tifa into my party, and I talked to Aerith, and she was just, I forget what she said, but it wasn't as, like, enticing as, like, hey, can I go too?
Because, like, nobody else asks you to go.
Yeah, she says, I wonder what he wants to show Red 13.
Yeah, I thought...
And I was like, all right, you lost your chance, Aerith.
Yeah, I know. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm going to go with Yuffie. But then I talked to Tifa, and I was like, God, I really want to take Tifa now. Because, like, she's the only person who actually asks you to go along.
Yeah, I do like what Yuffie says.
No,
she says, I wonder what he wants to show them. Maybe it's materia that's been passed down for generations.
Kate Sith just says, dangerous, count me out.
Yeah. Which I almost spitefully was like, well, motherfucker, you're coming now. Complaining about it? Now you gotta do 10 more push-ups.
Yeah. So we go back up to the level just underneath the observatory that we can get to, like, some of the shops from.
Yeah.
And there's, like, just a big metal door. It was there originally, too.
Yeah, there was, like, a little kid walking around outside of it.
Oh, the little kid, too, he says, I wonder how they shut it. You think it's with super glue?
Yeah. It's like the Professor Farnsworth in that one Futurama where the bomb is invented, and he's just like, it's stuck in there with glue or something. I don't know.
That's so good. But yeah, so you talk to Bugenhagen, you get him to open the door.
It's hilarious how he opens the door, by the way.
Oh, he touches a barrel.
And the barrel opens up and a little button comes out.
Yeah, a button raises up out of the barrel and he hits the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it opens it.
The door also opens in a weird way. Like, I thought it would just, like, you know, like just
go
float.
up.
Yeah, go up. Thank you. Yeah. But instead, there's
what's that word? Go
what's
up.
What's the direction that's not down, left, or right?
You're thinking about, like, a Death Star door or something.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, there's, like, two slats, and it's, like, in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, the top part of it goes to the left, and the right part of it goes, or the bottom part of it goes to the right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there is, like, caution markers, like the yellow and black stripes around the doorway. And then Red says, okay, you lead the way, Grandpa. And I love that Bugenhagen's like, whoa, are you crazy? It's dangerous in there.
He's like, yeah, didn't you hear me? It's dangerous.
Yeah, he goes, you want an old man like me to go first? I'll be right behind you.
Yeah.
So good. And
I
then,
love this next screen, too.
God, it's so cool. So, like, yeah, you describe it. You started, so you go ahead.
Yeah. If you try to leave, Bugenhagen's like, oh, okay, like, hurry back. I can't leave this door open forever.
Really?
Yeah. So when you go back, you start kind of climbing down, and there's, like, ladders that lead down to, like, slight little, like, cliff faces that it's like a ladder and then, like, a rope and then another ladder and another rope. But each time you go down, Cosmo Canyon's music gets, like, lower and lower, and it fades out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you start climbing down, and then you start seeing, like, a weird green glow.
Yeah, to the cave walls.
Yeah, and then you get down to where, like, the cave kind of, like, goes into, like, an hourglass shape.
Yeah.
And you climb all the way down into a little, like, orb-like room.
Yeah, like a dome.
That's like just everything is green. You see a light coming through from a cave,
and the music's super quiet.
Yeah,
at
it's
that
like
point.
very.
You can barely hear it.
Yeah.
I also like that not only does it, like, as you go down, it transitions to, like, this weird green glow. Also, like, on the top floor, there's, like, some machinery and some boxes, and every layer you go down, there's less of that stuff.
Yeah.
Until it's just the cave.
Yeah,
right?
it's really good.
So cool. But yeah, so we go into the next area, and so what is this area called?
I think it's.
Do we have the name of these
so
caves?
the part that we were just in was called the Sealed Cave.
Yeah.
And this is called the Cave of Ghee.
That's what I thought it might be like the Ghee caves or the Cave of Ghee or something like that. Yeah. So so we're in this cave, and this is like, well, I guess Bugenhagen's actually going to tell us what its history is. So I won't go into that until we get there.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like a general. It's a cave system, you know what I mean? Like nothing too, like, crazy. The second screen's got, like, lava and shit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking wild. But Yeah, the first room that we're in, there's like a bunch of small little doorways that we can go
Yeah.
to, like little smaller caves, like offshoot ones. And in the back of each one, there's like a rock,
Funny looking
a
rocks.
funny looking rock, and you're able to break them. And you get into a battle when you break them, right? And like,
Yeah, so I went
This is like
through.
Pokemon all over again.
Yeah, I went through.
yeah, you break one and a Shuckle comes out.
Hell yeah! Shout outs to Shuckle.
Shuckle is also
Spooky.
Shuckle, come on our podcast.
Spoopy is amazing. But yeah, like this part, I got kind of like moving super forward. There's a weird puzzle in a part of Final Fantasy VIII that involves like hitting boulders and like making them fall in a certain
in
way.
the lunatic
And like
Pandora.
I thought it was that, and I was like, oh shit, is this a puzzle that I'm gonna fuck up? Because like the first thing that you kind of see
That's
in
what
here
I thought too.
is a blue materia that's like on a cliff that you
Yeah.
can't quite reach yet. So I was like, I don't want to fuck this up and like accidentally miss that whatever materia
Right,
that is.
that's exactly what I thought too.
So I was worried about it, and I was going around, and I think all of the caves, I might be wrong about this, but Cloud says a funny looking rock, except
Yeah.
one of them is an odd looking rock.
Oh, is that?
And I went to the topmost one first that I think was the odd looking rock.
Yeah.
And when you hit it, a passageway to the next screen opens. And then all of the other ones, if you break the funny looking rocks, it starts a battle with, what are they called?
the Ghee.
The
Ghee
Ghee spirit?
Spectre.
Spectre, yeah.
Inspector Ghee.
They're metal as fuck looking.
Yo,
They're super
yeah.
cool.
They're very like Dark Soulsy. Like,
Yeah, for sure. They got like
Yeah.
a spear. They're like the hollows in the fucking undead
they're like
church.
hollows. Yeah,
Yeah.
They got spears and like cloaks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of look a little bit like Garos from Majora's Mask, if you've seen them. Where
Yeah,
they're like
yeah.
little Grim Reaper guys.
It also looks like they have like maybe some feathers like sticking out of the back of the cloak.
Yeah, they
Head.
100% look like if Dark Souls Hollows were just wearing like Moon Knight's like cloak from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
I'm looking at concept art. It looks real cool.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like a more
they're-
tribal version of like an Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is rad as hell.
hell
that.
yeah. So they're Eddie of
Yeah.
Iron Maiden lore.
But yeah, so you're able to go to the next screen, and you can't get that materia yet that you're talking about. So like, no
Yeah.
matter what you're doing here, it doesn't really affect.
Yeah, you have to go to the next screen.
Yeah. So every time we do a screen transition here, Bugenhagen stops, and our party kind of goes out, and he talks to our party about the history of the cave. And so here he says, everyone here is a ghost of the Ghee tribe, killed in a certain battle. And Red's like, oh, certain battle? And he says, the vengeful spirits of the Ghee didn't disappear and couldn't return to the Lifestream. We still have far to go. And so we go to the next section, which is the lava section, right? And then the part with the fucking oil slick.
Oh my god, it got me.
I played it relatively recently, so I was like, I know what to do here.
Yeah, so you walk into the screen and there's like a bridge area and there's like an underpass that has like a chest on it and stuff. And you
Yeah.
have to walk through and there's this like weird looking stuff on the ground that you don't even really think about
Yeah.
until if you're running on it,
Yeah.
you slip and fall into the wall and spikes come out and
the
like,
wall and do
hit
so
you.
much damage.
Yeah, like it got red down to like I had just healed. I used like Cure 2 on my
Yeah,
entire party.
yeah.
And then I hit this and I had to do it again because like everyone was down in yellow. Like red was
Oh,
on
man,
1
yeah.
HP.
He
I
does
didn't
so
notice.
much damage.
I didn't notice until the next battle, and I was like, "Why is everyone almost dead?" I didn't notice I took a nap. I took a nap before we came down here.
It's so crazy.
I think it's also important to note, because it's not important at all to note, but the music changed here as well,
Yeah.
and it's just the Trail of Blood again.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that's like the most used song in this game so
It
far.
might be, yeah. It's good
It's
for
like that or
denoting-
Heart of Anxiety.
Yeah.
So is this lava or blood?
That's a good point. I thought it was lava because it's a video game and lava exists in every
It looks
video
like it's
game.
like boiling ghee.
Yeah.
That's why I would say it's like.
I'm gonna say it's blood because that's way more metal.
That's fair enough. But
It's
yeah,
just
so,
a good sauce.
so if you so if you don't fall into the wall, or even if you do fall into the wall, you can head south from there back into
Yeah.
the room we were just in and get the added effect materia,
which is really good.
which is really cool. I meant to look up all the details of it, and
So
I did not.
it's the same sort of thing as
Elemental, right?
elemental, except it's not for like an elemental material. It's so if you have
status effects and
Mystify
stuff,
or
yeah.
whatever, like Toad and small and Mini, that will be added to your weapon or to your armor. So if you
I was
use
wondering,
that
could
on your,
you use it with time magic?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
I would have to look
know.
that up, but it does work with like Mini and Toad. And even if you only have the portion of that that materia that only has mini, you can still attack people and turn them into frogs.
Oh,
with
cool.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just according to whatever the materia is. Not
Yeah, so there's
necessarily-
certain materias that work with it, and it just adds that effect. It's
Okay.
like, so you can confuse things or turn them into a toad.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the blood area again. You were talking about how there's like little bridges and treasure chests. And
Yeah.
you can get another weapon for Kate Sith
Mhm.
and an ether.
I love, it's the black megaphone, or
Yeah.
as it's written, the black M phone.
phone. Yeah, yeah.
And then ether, I noticed here, like I was real short on ether.
I only had 4.
And this, and
I think probably because I sold all the ones that I got.
the ones you stole.
Yeah.
We mentioned that like breaking those rocks will get you into random encounters with the Ghee specters and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also random encounters in here, and this is
Yo,
a tough fucking cave. I was like
The
over leveled.
difficulty ramps up here.
Yeah, and like I think that's like a thematic thing for what we're about to like find out. But like, yeah, it's really hard in this cave.
Yeah, it really
like,
is.
He wasn't kidding when he said it's dangerous. Like I was also over
Also,
leveled.
all of the fucking enemies, like maybe not 100% of them, but maybe 100% of them cast fucking death or
Yeah, like
or
death
countdown.
sentence,
Death
death
sentence.
sentence, which
Woof.
is an enemy skill that you can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just causes you to die after like
60 seconds. Yeah.
Oh my god. I know there's sneaky steps, which are the
Yeah, that's
Those
the
are the
sneaky
name.
steps.
Yeah.
sneaky steps. The heg, which is again like another
snake.
It's the baby Zalem with 2 snakes for.
but it's
legs.
yellow this time.
Yeah.
Which they're so I know I talked last time about how like Titan will ruin some fucking days or whatever. Every time I would get into a battle with like 5 or 6 hegs or whatever, I'd be like, "Fuck this! It's Titan time,
Hell
baby!
yeah.
Fury of the Earth, boom!"
Yeah. Interesting. I found out the hard way that
Oh.
Titan only works on enemies that are on the ground.
Oh, really?
So
I
this,
guess that makes sense.
a boss fight that we're coming up to doesn't do shit
Oh,
on.
interesting. Okay.
And so I wasted a lot of MP with no ethers.
What does it say? The Hegs too. So Yuffie had Ice 2 with all. That wrecks their world.
Yep.
It does so much damage to
Yep.
Hegs. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I guess that would mean it's probably lava, just because
It could. I mean, we could
it's a
infer that.
I mean, whatever.
So I don't want to talk about this enemy yet.
There's no sauce elements.
That's not elements. So
The zest
there is an
elemental.
enemy I want to talk about, but I don't want to talk about them
Yeah,
yet
go
until
for
we
it.
get to the next screen where they're actually at.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck the oh,
These
got it.
things suck.
Oh my god, they suck. But so again, before we go to the next room, Bugenhagen turns around and says, "As you can see, this cave leads to the back of Cosmo Canyon. Even though the Ghee even though the Ghee outnumbered us, they could not attack through here because the passage was too narrow." And like Red just says ... and I feel like he's beginning to
He's starting to piece some shit together.
yeah, which I didn't piece together at this point. Like, I was like, ooh, because I'm a fucking scrub and an idiot. And he says, let's move on. So we get to the next screen, and there are 5 little caves, and it absolutely looks like a fucking foot. Like, do you have a picture of it? It looks
Oh,
like
no, that I didn't notice that.
it looks like a foot. Like it looks like you're walking into the toes. Like,
Yeah.
But basically, it's just like a little area where you can go into 5 different little caves, and like the outermost ones loop around to each
just
other.
loop to
They
each
don't,
other.
yeah, they don't go. They don't even go here. They don't even go anywhere. The middle one also doesn't go anywhere. It just stops. You just walk into it, and you just can't go any further.
Right.
So the
Second from the left.
the second and the fourth one you can go into.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are spider webs immediately after you walk out. Cue, no doubt, spider webs. I'm going to put that in
Oh,
there.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a recording of your version of it?
No.
Damn.
No. Alex
Damn.
and I are in a no doubt cover band.
Yeah, if you're in the Philadelphia area and you can...
We barely have recordings of our other band.
that's true, that's true.
But when you touch the spider webs, an enemy called Stinger comes out.
Says, sorry, I'm not home right now.
Leave a message and it'll call you back. Yeah, all right. Yo, and this thing fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Stinger
this thing
sucks.
fucked me up.
It's got these 2 moves. Let's see, I got Sting Bomb, and I didn't write the other one down.
Sting.
No.
Well, Sting Bomb, and Rabbit Gouge.
Rabbit
Yeah,
Gouge.
yeah.
Yo, Sting Bomb and Rabbit Gouge do so much fucking damage.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
These things are fucking
I think
brutal.
that
They look like
I think
daddy
Sting Bomb
longlegs.
might be a percentage.
It might be.
maybe.
Because I got hit with it when I was...
I was just afraid of these things, so I kind of just plowed through. Like,
Oh, okay.
like, is there a way to avoid these encounters? I don't think
I
there
don't think
is.
so.
Like, I don't think there's a thing that you can do to get rid of the web without actually walking into it and starting the battle.
Yeah,
But an interesting thing about
they're
this
real
battle,
motherfuckers.
It's
though.
kind of a mini boss, I would say.
yeah, no, absolutely, and there's a lot of them in a row because they like take a lot of hits. Like, I'm pretty sure I used beta on one of
Yeah.
them, and it like didn't kill it.
Yeah, they're real strong.
Yeah, and
Takes me a while.
also
It's gonna be I went through multiple limit breaks each time because they do so much damage at once that like every time they hit, I was just limit breaking again. But I was almost dead every time.
yeah.
So yeah, it was real rough.
I was also trying to steal from one of them at one point because I was like, oh shit, they might have like a really good item. I keep getting like couldn't steal. So I was like, I know it has something.
Yeah.
These things are tough as shit. I think they might be unique to this area. I want to make sure I'm not missing something that I can't get again.
Yeah.
And I kept trying, and then like I finally looked it up because it was taking so long and I was almost dead.
Yeah.
And it was like an ether or something. I'm
Yeah,
like, fuck this. I will spend the 500 gil. Like, get the fuck out of
right.
here.
Yeah, they're real assholes. Like you said though, they're like green daddy long legs, right?
Yeah,
And they're real
exactly.
big. They're real big.
Yeah.
4 legs.
It's
right.
It's crazy that like it's not an intimidating looking spider. I mean, all spiders are intimidating, but it's not like a giant tarantula or anything. Like it looks
Right.
like real. I was like, oh, these things are gonna be pushovers, and they fucking instantly like.
Fuck your world
So
up.
It's
weird.
like the Half-Life 2 walker thing. It's a little
Yeah.
but with one extra leg.
The
People.
crab heads.
No, the long like searcher ones, like the giant tall.
Oh, and the Half-Life 2 when you're after the beach section, I think is where they pop up. Is that right?
The Striders.
They look like Half-Life Striders,
Yeah.
or so I'm told.
Yeah, and if you
Yeah, they look a lot like Half-Life Striders.
if you go deep into the Half-Life 2 lore, their actual names are Aragorn. Thank you.
Good, all right. I'll give it to you.
But a weird thing happened to me in one of the battles where I think the one where I was trying to steal from it. I think it might have run out of MP
Oh, really?
because I just got a thing at the top of the screen that said Stinger's skill power is used up,
Really?
which I had never seen before.
That's wild.
Like that's crazy.
If you go too far past Cosmo Canyon, the spider breaks down. But so you can
Yeah,
get
I would love to ride a spider to climb over mountains and shit.
Yeah.
That would rule. Well, good news, Alex.
Yeah.
Just wait 5 more episodes.
We get a spider,
No,
yeah, you get a giant spider.
that'd be
a walker.
Named Sid.
You have to walk around the desert outside of Cosmo Canyon 69 times exactly,
Right.
and then you get the spider.
You have to lose to Gary on the SSN, and then and then come back when you have strength and move the truck. So in this room, you can also get a turbo ether and a fairy ring, which I was like, oh, fairy ring is gonna like prevent instant death because everything here does death,
Kills you, yeah.
and it just prevents poison and darkness. So like,
Yeah, which is, and I think it might be an item that we could have already gotten somewhere else. I might
Maybe
be
so.
wrong about. I'm probably wrong about that, but
it could be.
fairy ring rings a bell. No pun
Yeah.
intended.
Oh.
The first time I didn't intend a pun.
But yeah, when we get to the next room, this is like the next to last.
I think there was also an X potion in here, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot to take a picture of it. You're absolutely right. So Bugenhagen.
Speaking of Iron Maiden, I'm just saying the next screen.
Oh, yeah.
hell
Before,
yeah.
So before we get there, so Bugenhagen talks to us here. He says, "This warrior went through the cave all alone, fighting attackers one after another." And then Red says, "Grandpa, that warrior," like he's gonna ask him a question.
Bugenhagen-
And Bugenhagen says, "Ho ho ho, we're almost there." And then we walk in, and then fucking
It's Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck is right there.
He's standing in flames, and it looks way cooler than
Yeah.
that time Sephiroth
No, I was saying
standing
he
in
was
flames.
the warrior, but that works too.
No, that's what I mean.
No, I mean
Okay.
he's still here. Yeah.
He's still here.
Okay.
No, but like
He's
for
with all of
real,
us.
for real though, like we've been talking about it. Like I said, I was over leveled at this point and almost died a bunch of times. Like this
It's a
place is
real
fucking
fucker.
tough.
Yeah.
So there was a warrior who was just in here fighting this shit off like single handedly.
Right.
Like
by
that
himself,
fucking
yeah.
rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
But in the next screen, it's just like a cave
Literally.
that has like,
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
like a little bridge kind of thing, like a cave. Like it's the cave is like becoming a bridge
it's a
over
small
some
room.
over
Yeah.
lava, and there's just this like insanely metal looking
Fucking
face.
Eddie. That's Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
the Iron Maiden fucking face. It's gruesome as fuck.
It's
and
like
it just
a
looks metal.
demon looking face, just
Yeah.
cool as shit.
And like this whole time, Bugenhagen's been like, "Oh, this cave is this, and this is here, and blah blah blah." And so like when I went in, I was like, "False sense of security." Bugenhagen's getting ready to tell me what this face is all about.
Yeah, and he says,
and he goes, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh no, that's not good." I thought this was gonna be the thing you wanted to show me.
yeah, and Red says, "Grandpa, is he?" And then he says, "After death, the ghosts of the Ghee, like stagnant air. This can't be." And like, I think it's also important to mention that like this weird like ghoul face on the wall is like the same color as the cave.
Yeah.
So it kind of just looks like it's like a weird carved statue or something. Like
Yeah.
like until Bugenhagen's like, this can't be. Like there's
And it
no
fucking
sign of it
moves.
like necessary. Yeah, it moves. Its eyes glow fucking like white, and its mouth like opens up, and it does this like kind of
goofy
yeah,
face.
kind of hilarious looking like weird face of like it looks like Large Marge's face from TV.
yeah,
Like, "Whoa."
yeah, it does. Yeah.
And then it like comes up towards the screen and in like a battle transition like way.
Yeah,
Where it like
yeah.
spirals in. So I just have this cool ass fucking haunted ass picture.
Oh, that is so rad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's art right there.
So we'll tweet that out. But yeah, it just
Okay.
comes up towards the thing, and then we're in a boss battle.
Which is Natty Ghee? Is that it?
It is Ghee Natak.
Yeah, I'm saying
Natty, I like Natty Ghee though.
Natty Ghee.
So we're
Ghee
fighting
Natak.
Natty Ghee. We got the Natty Splatties.
Yeah, so so this dude is like he's like a larger one of the Ghee specters. He's
Yeah.
a little more ornate. Like I mean he's the chief.
He's
Ghee.
like the chieftain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he's accompanied by 2 like sentient fireballs.
Soul flames. I
Soul
think. Or
flames.
soul fire.
Yeah, yeah. And do we want to right now tell everybody how you could beat it, or wait till the end?
Let's
wait till the end.
end.
It'll be more hilarious.
Because I completely forgot. Until
Oh, okay, great.
So I did this. I did
Yeah.
this all regular, and it was not easy.
Fantastic. Okay.
But
Here's-
so
I
this
actually
thing
had
has-
a great time with it. I didn't have
Yeah.
any fucking problem with this guy.
I had real
rolled him.
fucked up materia
Oh, okay.
things here, and like almost no MP and no ethers and shit. So I was just like, well,
Well, check this out. This is my setup that I had. Okay, I had Cloud, Yuffie, and Red, and Cloud had Cure 2. Cure hurts this boss because it's undead.
Yeah.
So it was doing like 1,500 damage.
Yep.
Which I have not done anywhere near that much damage this whole game. That is
Yeah.
the most by far that I've put out. And I was like, oh my god. And Yuffie has Ice 2, which does like 1,000.
Yep.
And then I had Red with Shiva. And so like every turn I was just like, boom,
Wow,
1,000,
wow, wow.
boom, 1,000. And just like rolling this dude.
yeah, I don't know why I had the materia setup that I did, but like, so like Red 13 had like 43 MP, Tifa had like 68, and Cloud had like the most MP, but only had like enemy skill. So with
Oh,
Cloud,
no.
I was like, you know what? I think I had already taken down the flames, and I was like, I'm gonna use Aqua Lung.
I did too.
And it does nothing.
nothing.
Literally nothing. I think it also, we should note that like it kind of looks like, you know, a bigger version of the Ghee Specters, like you were saying, except it doesn't have like a lower body. It
No,
just
it's
has
just a
a
fucking
spine,
spine.
dangling down
God,
from
it's
its
so
like
brutal.
cloak.
Yeah,
It's so cool looking.
So rad. And so
Oh, I
the-
thought those were his tiny little legs dangling there.
No.
Yeah. Like
Nope.
these super tiny, like super tiny thin leg.
He,
Like just
he
like,
skipped leg day.
yeah.
He skipped our second episode. Is that
Yeah,
episode
it's
2?
the third one. It's the
Third,
third one.
yeah, shit.
So the soul flames or soul fires.
Yeah.
So what they do is like he'll be like go, you know, he'll point to one and
Yeah.
it'll possess one of your party members.
Yep.
And then that party member will cast fire 2 on itself.
And which
so-
heals it.
No, I mean like when it possesses you,
Yeah.
it causes you to essentially cast fire 2 on yourself.
On yourself, yeah.
Which does damage.
But it also can cast fire too on itself to heal itself.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. Yeah. So that's kind of like the thing of this.
Yeah, the gimmick.
The gimmick. That's what I was looking
Yeah,
for. Yeah. So
I beat him with Tifa's limit break because
okay.
which like I had like 4 of at this point.
Okay.
And so I was able to like that's what I needed to do to beat it. Like I
Yeah.
would have beat it, it just would have taken a lot longer. But
Yeah.
I like got that limit break. I was like, thank fucking God.
Yeah, dude, I fucking trucked through this
Yeah.
motherfucker. But like Alex was getting ready to say, Alex, is there another way that we could possibly beat this?
If only
enemy?
there was an easier
If only there was an
way.
easier way.
Don't you hate it when this happens?
There's according to the wiki, there's apparently 4 ways to do this, but there's a way to kill it instantly
Yep.
using an X potion, an elixir,
Yeah.
or a Phoenix Down. But
Phoenix Down,
Phoenix Down has a chance to miss, but
Yeah.
also there was just that I mentioned in passing. Oh yeah, there's an X potion in this chest, whatever.
Yeah,
like they're probably
yeah.
just like, no, just fucking use that.
Yeah, you can just throw an X potion or an elixir at this boss, and it will just instantaneously kill him.
Yeah.
And I've never fought him the right way before. I was like, no, this time it's for the pod. I'm gonna do it.
Hell
you know.
yeah.
But like I've always just been like, oh fuck this guy, and just threw the thing at him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
of
was
course.
done. Yeah.
the spell life also works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can use life, which I think one of my team members had.
Really?
And like I saw,
Yeah.
like when I scanned it in the beginning to see how much HP it had,
Yeah.
I saw that it was weak against holy, but I didn't put
Is life holy?
in this. It is, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in the wiki, when I was like looking it up, it was like, oh, you can use a Phoenix down. I was like, fuck, I knew that. I forgot.
Holy base ability.
Okay. So he gives us a wiser staff. Not gives us. We
Yeah.
kill him and acquire a wiser staff.
Which
Oh,
it doesn't look the same as his like spear thing that he's holding, which I was a little disappointed in. But
I read
Oh,
that as
that'd be rad.
Wizard.
yeah,
Maybe it is Wizard?
I read Wiser. It's Wizer.
It's a Z, so it's
Yeah.
not like the word wise. It's not
Yeah.
like being wiser than somebody. So it could be Wizard. I mean, I don't know. It's,
The Wizard.
You know what? It's fantasy. It's fucking...
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
That's Wizard, Annie.
Yeah. So Bugenhagen thanks you. He says, "Oh, because of you, we survived. Nanaki, you've grown strong too." And he says, "Now I know it wasn't a mistake to bring you here. I have something I want to show you. It's right over here."
I love what Nanaki says to.
Oh, I'm
to
sorry, I
his
skipped right over
No,
it.
that's okay. Because Bugenhagen's like, you've grown strong. Like basically,
Yeah.
being like, I'm really proud of you. Like I was right to bring you to this very dangerous place. And Red 13's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna skip over it because I was just like, "Oh, we'll just get through the text." But yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
Also, after the battle, did we mention that a green materia drops down? And
Or I
you
meant,
pick it
no,
up?
I didn't mention it. But yes, it does.
I didn't want to do that again, which like when I listen back, I'm like, oh my god, he just fucking said that. Shut up. But yeah, so it's a gravity materia.
Demi. Wait, is it
Is
Demi in this game or is it just gravity?
That's a good question. I didn't actually look at it.
Anyway,
but
the materia is gravity. It's the gravity materia. I think the spell it casts might be Demi. In most of the games, it's called Demi.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
usually what it is.
Correct.
Yeah, Demi 2, and Demi 3 in this
Yeah,
game. So,
yeah.
and basically what that does, it's a gravity-based spell, which means that it's a percentage. We talked about
Right.
this before with an enemy that was like in the prison that like
Probably.
I think the bouncing
the
masks
little
had
coin
a
thing, yeah.
gravity attack like in self-destruct that it'll only do a percentage of your damage, so you can shell out a ton of damage. Like if you
real fast.
Yeah, so I think
on an enemy that it's weak to. The thing is, like, bosses usually can't
Yeah.
be touched with Demi.
exactly.
When we get to FF8, we'll talk about fucking a lot of bosses can be.
Yeah, it fucking rules.
What?
It's always like, but it's always a thing where like if you're at a certain level, you'll use it a couple of times, like the highest form of it, and it'll be like 9999, 99999, 99999, and then like finally it'll be like 66666 or whatever. And then you're like, oh, thank God, now it's under
almost
10,000 HP, and I can
Yeah,
kill it.
yeah, it's so good. And the Demi 1, 2, and 3 do different percentages. That's kind of what they are in
Yeah.
this game. You have,
So
like,
one is
25.
3/4, 2 is a half, and 3 is a fourth. Like it leaves it.
No, wait,
to a
other way
fourth.
around. Oh, yeah, leaves it at a fourth. Yeah,
Lower
yeah, yeah.
target HP to 1/4 its
Yes,
current level.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I did that back. I'm reading the
You're
thing,
right,
and
you're
it does
right,
it
yeah.
backwards. I just
Yeah,
left
you're
out the
good.
first part where that puts it in context.
Yeah. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would the later ones only do a fourth? Like, yeah.
Is it good enough for Yuffie though?
Yeah, I know.
I feel
yeah.
like she would like this one.
Yeah, it's an attack materia. It's it's real real basic like that.
So
Doesn't think the MP HP plus materials are good. Yuffie, get out of here.
get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yuffie, come on the pod and defend yourself.
Yeah. so
Good materia snob.
so we talked about this a little bit before the podcast started as well. That like I feel like I'm old now, and that everything makes me cry now,
Yep.
and because I'm just like, oh, I've become old and emotionally weak. But like, oh man, this scene, y'all,
This
get me
this
all
scene,
choked up.
So we go through where the face was, which turns into an opening.
Yeah, it just turns into an opening.
Yeah.
Like that's why Bugenhagen was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
This used to be a cave door.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
my hole.
this scene is like so heavy that like
Mm.
when I listen to this track, which I do a lot, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but like in my car, one of the very few CDs that I have is the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack.
Really?
So like I have it on pretty regular rotation.
Yeah.
And like when it gets to this particular song, I always get like a little misty eyed.
Oh,
Like I think about it,
man.
I'm like, it's like, ooh,
Ooh, there
just
it
hits
is.
me right
Oh,
in the heart.
It just hits different.
It's this shit just hits different. So you walk in and Red kind of starts jumping up these like these little cliff areas.
Yeah, we're kind of outside.
It's outside, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it's like,
like
a very
the-
thin.
It's a narrow canyon.
Yeah.
Like
Kind of-
one you probably wouldn't see driving around kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
this is probably like the only real way you're gonna see it is by going through this cave.
Yeah. So he's kind of jumping up, and Bugenhagen says, "The warrior who fought against the Ghee, he kept them from taking even one step into Cosmo Canyon. But he was never able to return to town. Look, Nanaki, look at your father, at the warrior Seto."
Oh, it's so crazy.
And the camera pans up, and you just see like at the top of the cliff face over there, there's like a
Seto
statue.
Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh.
there's just a statue with like a bunch of spikes sticking out of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's
And
very
it's like
similar looking to Red 13.
But it's like
jacked.
bigger and jacked, and its
Yeah.
mane, it looks like a fucking flames. It is
Yeah.
gnarly as fuck.
And it zooms in on its face, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's just an immense pain, just like gritting.
Yeah, it's like baring its teeth. But yeah, it's the same like species as Red,
exactly.
right? And it has like, so I took these spikes to be spears, right?
Yeah,
It's all
exactly.
the spears that the Ghee tribe stuck in this character or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of
okay.
biblical in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much
And
so.
so like, and you just see like in the background like a reddish moon and like a very dark purple sky, just kind of setting the scene.
Oh god, so good.
And Red looks up and just says, that's Seto? And then Bugenhagen says, Seto continued to fight the Ghee tribe here to protect this canyon, even after the Ghee's poisonous arrows turned his body to stone.
Poison and stone are two different status
Two different
effects in this
things,
game.
yeah.
Bugenhagen, get
Come
your shit
on.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Did anyone use a soft on a...
Yeah, the whole time he could have come back to town. We just needed to get it soft.
Yeah, they need to go to Costa del Sol and get that famous soft
Yeah.
they sell. But yeah, he says, even after they all ran away, Seto continued to protect us. And he continues to protect us even now.
I just want everybody to know that I threw both my fists up in
He
the
did.
air when Carl read that. I
Big-
was like, oh.
Big Barrett energy
Yeah.
over there.
So
yeah,
good.
and Red's just kind of musing on it. He says, even now.
Yeah.
And then Bugenhagen says, you thought that he was a coward and ran away, but he alone risked his life to protect Cosmo Canyon. That is your father, Seto. And then, yeah, and Red says, that is Seto. Did Mother know? And Bugenhagen says,
Oh, yeah.
She knew. The two of them made me promise to keep this cave shut. They asked me to seal it myself and not tell a soul. They said we should forget about this cave.
And then he asks us to leave. Like,
Yeah, he's like, can we get a moment?
yeah, he asks us to leave him
Can you
alone.
go back in the dangerous cave for me, please?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
wait in that hell place that you just escaped.
All the fucking like the geek like running after
They're
us.
all
Oh!
there. They're like, hey, these ones turn you to stone, motherfucker. Here,
Yeah.
here it comes.
But yeah, so Bugenhagen talking to Red now alone, like they're both standing there by
Yeah.
themselves. He says, Nanaki, I want you to continue your journey with Cloud and the others. And Red's surprised. He's like, oh, Grandpa. And he goes, listen, Nanaki, Cloud says they are trying to save the planet. Honestly, I don't think it can be done. And this is this one. Oof.
Yeah.
Even if they stop every reactor on the planet, it's only going to postpone the inevitable. Even if they stop all the greenhouse emissions into the air, there's still multiple degrees of global warming built in. Sorry, what?
Even if they stop the Amazon rainforest from being set on fire by Bolsonaro.
Yeah, oh god, Jesus. Even if they stop Sephiroth, everything will perish. But Nanaki, I've been thinking lately. I've been thinking that if there was anything we could do as part of the planet, something to help a planet already in misery, no matter what happens, isn't it important to try? Or am I just wishing against fate?
God damn.
I'm too old to do anything about it. This year, I'll be 130. Oh, this is why, Nanaki, you must go with them, for my sake. And, again, Red's just kind of musing. He's like, oh, Grandpa. And he goes, I wanted to show you your real father before you left. I'm so glad that you came back while I was still alive to show you. And, Red says, oh, Grandpa, don't talk like that. I don't want to think of life without you. And Bugenhagen's like, oh, well, I've had a long life. And, Red's just not having it. He's like,
Yeah.
Grandpa, you must live. I will see to it. I'll see to what's happening to the planet, and I'll come back to tell you. And so he's, like, real fired up,
Yeah, and he's like, and Bugenhagen's like, Nanaki.
Yeah, he goes, so Red says, I am the Nanaki of Cosmo Canyon, the son of the warrior Seto. I'll come back a warrior true to that noble name. So please, Grandpa. And then, I guess I can't really tell here. It's like small blue-green circles.
Just start kind of falling from the
Start
sky.
falling, yeah.
And there's like a little noise that's playing as they fall too. I
Yeah,
think.
like a little chime.
Yeah, like a little.
And Bugenhagen says, oh, that's Seto's, possessive Seto's. And Red says, oh, Seto, father. And you look up, and the fucking statue is crying. There are tears coming out of the fucking statue.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, and Red just kind of looks up and starts howling.
Oh, he starts howling.
Fuck, man.
Man, that's where it gets me right there.
God damn.
You have the statue, fucking tears are coming out of the statue after hearing Red's speech about how he's going to come back and be worthy of the name.
Yeah.
And then, Red's howling up at his fucking father. I was like, oh my God.
His father that so Red's what, what did he say?
48.
So for like presumably like 48 years around that, he's like held this hatred for his father, this anger for him inside of him.
Right.
And like now it's finally coming to a thing where he's like, I've been a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
for all this time, like
Yeah.
I've been ashamed of my father, and he is the reason I'm here. He's the reason we're all here.
Yeah, and like the sound that they play for Red howling or whatever, like I get like it's PS1 era game, right? So like there's like the compression and the sound quality that comes along with it, but like they picked a perfect sample for it because it's like somewhat proud but somewhat pitiful at the same time, which is why I'm just like, oh, it gets me so much. It gets me right here.
Another thing with the sound design here is just that like I don't know if it's actually intentional or if it would even be possible to make that intentional, but every time I've played this, I'm pretty sure when I hit like when I'm going through the dialogue and hitting A and everything, just the pacing of it starts when it's like panning up to the statue. That's when the drums start kicking in once it shows Seto, so it's like dun 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 dun, dun. And it's just so like overwhelmingly like kick ass.
Yeah,
it's just like fuck.
Really good scene, really solid scene here. And then it fades out, right? And we're back at the bonfire, and the whole team except for Red is there, right?
Yeah.
And they weren't privy to that conversation that Bugenhagen and Red just had, so they're all like, all right, this is it for Red. Like, he's come back, he's learned about his father, he's ready to protect the canyon again. It's time to leave.
Cloud says, shall we get going? Also, before that, Barrett says, if your buggy broke down, Barrett says, they said they finished fixing the buggy.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
So then Cloud stands up and says, shall we get going?
Eris says, this is it, Red 13. Barrett says, that's just the way it goes. You came in handy at times.
Yeah, I love like he's kind of cold about it. He's like, like I like their begrudging relationship. That they back and forth.
Like they give each other shit. Like
he's like, you came in handy sometimes. And then everyone starts kind of walking away towards the front of town, and then you have control of Cloud again and get to make your way towards.
I ran around town and I was like, I wonder if you can find Red or Bugenhagen, and like, no, they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I don't think you can get back into the cave.
Yeah. You can't get back
it's sealed
to
off,
the
and
Demon's Cave.
it's also important to note that area, the Cave of Ghee, is like inaccessible for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
The kid's back there though, and he says, "No, it doesn't open. How does he seal it? With a huge magnet?"
Yeah, I saw that too.
He's got a new theory now.
A new theory about how it's sealed. I love it.
I read that and I didn't even think about that versus the glue. That's really funny.
Yeah. But yeah, Red. So as soon as we're leaving, like as soon as we start taking the last stairway out, Red runs up to us and says, "Oh, wait for me, I'm coming too." And he and Bugenhagen come down, and Bugenhagen says, "Cloud, please look after Nanaki." And Cloud's confused. He's like, "What happened?" And Red just goes, "Oh, I think I grew up a little. That's what happened."
And he just runs away.
And he runs off.
Down.
Yeah, he runs down the stairs. And Bugenhagen just says, "Ho ho ho! Come back whenever you need my knowledge." And that's Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah.
Whew,
that's Cosmo Canyon, baby.
What the feels?
Goddamn.
And Cosmo Canyon feels. Oh,
yeah.
I'm tearing up.
Did we grow up?
I think we grew up a little bit. That's what happened.
We grew up a little with our 20 hours of podcasting.
God, I love this part so much.
I know, it's so good. So the next section that we're gonna play, I also really enjoy.
Yep.
I feel like it's actually plot light though.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you would think it would be insanely plot heavy.
Yeah.
Because we are going to Cloud's hometown next, Nibelheim.
Yep.
Which is I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with doing on the podcast. I think it's gonna be a really enjoyable episode because instead of like reading a lot of dialogue, there's not really a lot of that. There's some.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
But it'll be a lot of like chats about inferring things and like, what do you think this means? And like, what about this guy and stuff like that. So I'm like real excited for the next episode. But we're gonna be, for the listeners, we're gonna be tackling Nibelheim and the Nibel Mountains.
Yeah.
Nibel?
Mount Nibel. Nibel. Yeah.
Nibelheim. Mount Nibel.
Yeah. But we'll be going through those
sweet
two
nibbles.
locations.
The sweet nibbles.
But this is our first time actually going there.
Yeah.
Ooh boy.
Not in a memory.
See how it's changed since the 5 years since Sephiroth burned it down. Because remember, Sephiroth burned the whole town to the ground.
Yeah.
Like two cinders.
I'm sure they bounced back. Some good like
with that Rufus effect.
The Rufus effect, put it back. Yeah.
They probably got some good like affordable housing there and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I do think it is an important thing to point out, though, that it, in its current state, is burned to the fucking ground, because that was the last thing that happened with Sephiroth. Completely tore
5
down.
years ago.
Carl's referring to his mousepad map right now.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it. Is this technically a different continent than Corel and Gold Saucer?
Can I see your mouse?
It's connected.
Pad.
I think it's. I'll let you consult the.
Where's the map?
All right, so this is how I translate the map. I think that there are 3 continents.
Okay.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
The Arctic one.
There's the Arctic one,
Yeah.
the left one, and the right one, and possibly Wutai
Yeah.
as a separate continent.
Right.
So, I mean, Wutai is a separate continent.
What about that small little
These
island
are
up there in the
rivers,
top
though.
corner?
Rivers don't separate continents.
That's what I was.
though.
That's what I was thinking too. So I just want to make sure that our critique of Cloud being like, "Wow, the new continent from the continent that he's on,"
Yeah.
because I guess there may be countries, but countries exist within continents.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I think Cloud's dumb.
Cloud's still a dummy.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
It'd be all right. Do you guys want to say anything else?
Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the stupid, like, how they categorize this stupid map. It says the planet Overworld. So I'm guessing.
The new planet.
Whenever you leave your house in real life, you're going to Earth's overworld. Or like when you leave your city and you get on the highway, you're like, I'm no longer in the city now. I'm in the overworld.
Fuck, God.
Oh man, you started saying that when you're driving to my house.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm in the overworld.
Yeah, I'm in the overworld. Be there soon.
No, I don't think there's really anything else though.
Other than give us 5-star review.
Yeah.
Yeah. Theme music is a remix by DJ Cutman. Featured music by Nubo Uematsu. Check the show notes for a link to that. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Tell us what Sephiroth smells like. Eros or Aerith. What would you get grafted to your arm?
What would you have done with the 20 hours of your life that you listened to our podcast?
What's your favorite word for apparatus? Doodad or gizmo?
Or every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail.
Also, Carl owes us 1 tweet that he talked about.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
You should check our listener. We should check how many listeners we have now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are we up to?
My mouse.
So just so everybody knows, before the show, we were at 1,336 listens over the last 90 days. So we are 1 away from being elite. We're almost elite.
Are we true gamers now?
I got some news for you guys.
Is it good?
We are still 1 away, but we
no.
are 1 over. In the time we were doing that, it's been 2 listeners.
We're Lieb.
I've never been.
We're Lieb now.
I've never been so less grateful for our listenership.
Yeah.
So now we need to just get. I'm not going to do the simple math in my head because we already know how that works. But we need to get to 8,008.
8,008 listeners. That's
the next
next
cool
goal.
number.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. We can get to 2,100, which is the restart code on most routers. Anyway, this has been Every FNFF. Go F yourself. Hey guys,
is that our sign off? No.
One more thing.
Carl usually says, "I'll see you in hell," right?
I think I said that once.
Okay.
Yeah. No, one more thing. You know how we did Cloud's birthday?
Oh yeah.
The last episode came out on Squall's birthday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy birthday,
anything.
Squall.
Go F yourself! Do you remember all the things I said when I was drunk? I didn't mean to call you that. I'm assuming Alex will fade this out. I don't remember what you said or what you threw at me. Please tell me. Please tell me.
I'm queuing up some enemy pages here.
Wait.
That's a good idea. I'm always like, how does he get those so fast?
Oh, ski, motherfucker. Oh, ski, goddamn.
So Barrett looks at us and says, aw, skeet, motherfucker. Aw, skeet, goddamn.
What do you think they meant by that?
And then Red looks right at the camera and says, y'all twerk it out there a little bit harder than that a little bit.
I guess he did grow up a little bit today.
He's like, damn, this shit just hits different. This episode definitely hits different.
Being 49 just hits a little different.